I actually remembered to add myself to the stage this time. As you can see, I'm over here at Online Big Blue Central. The new offices. Hold on, I got to check. I got to type on my computer. Okay. Yep. No giant news coming up. Joe, the coffee man, will probably fuck up that too. No, he didn't, because I got my Black Rifle coffee this morning. I'm a little tired, a little verklempt, but you know what? The wait is over. We are done. There is no more drama involved in this fiasco. Mike Lee, I have a bunch of emails to respond to you, Mike Lee. I will tell you this. I have not missed your emails. For some reason, they all came in at once. I literally have like 5 emails from you that I have to respond to. So I'm not ignoring you, Mike Lee. I'm just I literally just have to figure out why my email's not working on my Gmail. Mike, you just email me at tim@onlinebigbblue.com. It's a lot easier. I check that email every couple hours, and the fact that it doesn't screw up like Joe Schoen. Oh, Joe Schoen. We all know what Joe Schoen, of course, is going to be doing at the Giant facility. Here you go, John. That's 2 sugars, no cream. Hope it's not too hot for you. That's going to be Joe Schoen's new job. Listen, this is not what he asked for in his contract, John Harbaugh, and what he got is not earth-shattering. For the Giants, it is, but for the rest of the league, it's not. The last time a general manager had total control, or the last time anyone in the Giant organization had total control over everything, was George Young. That was the last time that has ever happened. And I love it because people are like, well, the Giants have never done this. Well, technically, yes. Technically, Wellington Mara turned over the entire reins to George Young. So, I mean, Brandon, what's up, brother? Brandon with the Super Chat, and all Super Chats go to Children's Hospital, Philadelphia. We finally did it. Let's go, G-Men. It's time. I told everyone yesterday, relax. Have a beer. Doesn't cost nothing. Just relax. It was going to be fine. It was language. And like I said, I always go to the movie with the great white hype. You know, it's a duck thing. We just got to get all the ducks in a row. And the Giants got all the ducks in a row. But like I said, this is not earth-shattering what they did. It's different for the Giants, but Harbaugh for the last 8 years, after Ozzie Newsome, reported to the owner. This is not earth-shattering stuff. Now, for the Giants to relinquish this type of control, yeah, that's a little different. That's a little interesting. I cannot wait for the press conference on Tuesday. We're going to have a big show on Tuesday. I don't know. I'm so excited. You know what? This is the first time that I've ever been so excited for a New York Giants press conference. Usually I like the press conferences because I like to make fun of them, because they're so cliche. They're so stupid. They're so, I understand the question. I understand the question, but this is the right coach at the right moment for the right time for the New York Giants. John Harbaugh's also come out, already stated and said, I cannot wait to get this started. That's what it is. He told the Athletic, said it's the New York Football Giants during a phone interview on Saturday. I can't wait to get started. I know how great our fans are. I was like, he's already talking about our fans. I've seen them up close enough. We're going to build a team that's going to play a brand of football that you will be proud of. The history of the league means something to us. Why? Because it's the New York Football Giants, and I am their head coach. What a day. He will, and again, like I said, he's going to report directly to Mara. Now, yeah, there's been a different chain of command in the Giant office, but it hasn't worked. It hasn't worked. And he's reported to the owner before. Harbaugh's reported to the owner before. This is nothing new. And he hasn't done, I love it because people, he's done it for 18 seasons. No, he didn't do it for 18 seasons. He, as a first-year head coach and coming in as a special teams coordinator, he did not report directly to the owner. But we're not going to get into any of the negativity or the stupidity or the issues that beat writers had about getting shit right. We're not going to get into that. And I love it because you had some people that were like, well, he took the job because he said that the tail of the tape between him and Dart and Cam Ward, there was no comparison. Yeah, okay. No coaches are ever going to say that. He said the conversations with John and Chris and Joe, about that were great in reference to building the football operation structure. Harbaugh says final negotiation involved with the building of the football operation structure. He said that's been a little overblown. We're going to bolster up the analytics a bit. I thought Joe said he was already going to be using ChatGPT. The Giants actually have a big sports science staff that was then we had in Baltimore. We didn't really have a sports science department in Baltimore. Well, maybe that's actually a good thing they didn't have that, because we've had it and we've sucked for 15 years. I'm very excited. John Harbaugh says, I'm very excited about these players. I spoke with Jackson 2 or 3 times at length. I couldn't be more impressed with him. Watched him on tape. He had a heck of a rookie season. He's got the right mindset. This was one tough dude. I thought this was interesting too during the process. He says, I also spoke with Tom Coughlin. He's a big part of the process for me. I admired him as a coach and a friend. He's really encouraged me to go forward with the Giants. I think the Giants roster is strong, and this is our job to make it stronger. He said, we're going to compete for the playoffs and the championships. I expect and want to make the playoffs next year. That's what you want to hear. We're going to put that quote on the bottom. I like that quote. I like that quote because we're talking about making the playoffs. Funky Town. Oh, Big Don. I think you mistyped. It's 59%. I know you must have fat fingered it. It's 59%. I think that's correct, right? Dom, I'm not going to charge you. We'll talk about it, Dom. I'm not going to. What do you think I'm going to charge you? Big Don. Big Don. Here, I'm going to put that quote. I love that quote. Here we go. We're going to put that quote up, and we're going to write John Harbaugh. That's a great quote. Only because it's a great quote as a season ticket holder. It would be a terrible quote if I wasn't a season ticket holder again. But I never stopped being a season ticket holder. That was just a ruse, a cliche, I don't want to say that, but yeah, it came down to organizational structure. It came down to him not wanting to maybe he's never going to say, I love people. He could work with, he's never going to say it. He's never going to say, I don't want to work with Joe Schoen. He's never going to say that. He's going to say everything right. But now there's no need to give Joe Schoen an additional contract extension, because now you can just say, well, you know what Joe is? Joe is just a guy on the Believe Network. And don't forget, I forgot to mention it, right? It's the mighty FanDuel.com. FanDuel.com, number one sports book in America. This show is proudly brought to you by, and we're proud to have him as a sponsor. That's FanDuel. We're going to talk about FanDuel in a minute and how a lot of people got screwed up on last night's game. I feel sad for poor James Williams and his Buffalo. James Williams is a Buffalo Bills fan, so I feel bad for James Williams. I feel bad that the Knicks lost yesterday. There's so many things to feel bad about. But this is one thing to feel awesome about. This is one thing to feel great about. This is one thing as a Giant fan you can actually hang your hat on this. I've said it before right now. If you take a look at the NFC East, we arguably have the best coach in the NFC East right now. If you go through each individual team. Now, roster-wise, we're not there yet, but it's going to take time. It's going to take process. He's going to come out and say, yeah, we're going to win. That's perfect. That's fine. That's what you want him to say. That's what you want any head coach to say. But it's still going to be a process. If we win, I've said it before, if we win 6-7 games, I'm happy. As a season ticket holder, I'm ecstatic, because I can sit there and hold my head up high and do. This is what happened 4 years ago. Joe Schoen came in during his press conference and said, we're going to build this the right way. We're going to build through the draft, and we're going to augment through free agency. Then we had a 7-2 start, which fucked everything up. Because then we go 2-5-1, then 6-11, then 3-14, then 4-12, 13 wins in 3 years. That's what fucked everything up. So I believe Harbaugh when he says he's coming in here to do things the right way. I believe that. I believe that he is going to be not only the man of the moment, but the coach of the next 5 years. I believe that. And you know what else I believe? We got to do a little we got to do a little thank you, and I want to where'd it go? Did I not download it? I got a little thank you I got to do here, and it's for literally everyone that has been such a big part of the show, has been such a big part of the channel, that we hit a milestone yesterday on the Mighty Believe Network. And I want to share that with everyone because of the fact that it would not have been possible without everyone else here, and everyone that supports, and everyone that watches, and everyone that goes out and, extols the virtue of the channel. Because I know at times, it's a little difficult to be part of the online Big Blue Nation. And I greatly appreciate that every day, all the people that have been here since the beginning. But since April of last year, we have hit 1 million downloads starting today on the Mighty Believe. We've literally hit 1 million downloads. And that was as of yesterday. So I do want to thank everyone that has followed the channel, that has represented the channel, that has extolled the virtues of the channel through the good and through the bad. You're a big part of what we've done here over on the Believe Network and everything that we've done on YouTube. So big shout out and big thank you. Big cup of Joe to all you guys. Big cup of, rephrase that, big cup of John Harbaugh for all you guys. It feels like the dawn of a new day, doesn't it? I got to go back to Brandon. We finally did it. Let's go. It feels like the dawn of a new day, doesn't it? It feels like you have a moment that, as a Giant fan, you can finally exhale and relax. Doesn't it feel that way? I mean, I think it does. Great to see him arrive. Hopefully, Dom, come on. Here, Dom, streaming, come on. Telling Dom to come on. We're trying to get to that lowdown information, of course, for Dominic Palmer all the way in the UK. So we're going to try to see if we can't get Dom on. But the officialness of this is there was so much angst and people that were just so ready to I'm not we do it. This is how we do it. Uh-oh. That's gonna be a new Giant thing. This is how we do it. That's what it's going to be in the NFC East. I don't even know why that popped up. I must have been listening. I must have been listening to it on Friday night because I feel all right. The party's here on the west side. We're at the east side. Sorry. I don't even know how that came up. I don't even know why that came up. But you know what? We're going to get flagged for that copyright infringement. But I don't give a fark. Mr. Greg said, why is Joe Schoen still around? Because, Greg, we've talked about this. We talked about this a million times. Until your head coach gets acclimated with the facility, with all the amenities, who else is going to park his fucking car? You want your $100 million head coach to park it himself? No. It's going to be Valet Joe. Valet Joe's going to park the car. Duh. Let's go to the top of the chat. I want to make sure we get to everyone's euphoria here. Joe Ferry says, Tim, your thumbnails are fucking gold. You know what it is, Joe? I'm going to tell you this, pal. I've always been good at thumbnails. I'm not going to lie. I've always been awesome at thumbnails, but I slacked a little. I'll admit it. It was the fact that I was leaving February 12th that I was kind of like, well, you know what? I'll just throw something up and just stream and have some fun. But now that we have to stay through 2026, well, fuck, now I got to make thumbnails. I got to go back to making them. And I'm sitting there at night at the kitchen table, banging away. I got 2 laptops set up and banging away making fucking thumbnails. It's starting to hurt my head. Can rest now. We scared that scared that we would have fumbled it at the 1. You know, there was reports that it got a little dicey. There was reports that they said that the negotiation got a little dicey. Now, I don't think it was ever. I told everyone on the stream yesterday that I never thought it was in danger, but it was a little, it was a little touch and go. They were saying. You know, it's funny though. I think everyone right now is having a, it's that moment after euphoria where you're kind of just like, oh, I'm so fucking glad it's over. I'm just glad he signed. I'm glad he's in the box. I'm glad it's over. That's it. I mean, literally, that's what I think people. Mr. Lester said, "What are we got? We are back, baby. MetLife Stadium is going to be rocking. Getting my season tickets ASAP." Well, the good news is, my brother, some of us still have season tickets. I'm not going to say who, but this motherfucker's going to all the games. I don't care if we lose, because I want to see us be competitive. I want to see us, and like I said, everyone can be euphoric about this, and I get it, but I just want to be happy that we could actually have some competitive football and maybe not have our season end in October. Hold on a second. Hold on. Who's I don't know. I gotta answer this movie. I know nothing's ever easy. Nothing's ever easy. Here we go. We got to generate that. We're going to go from there. So what else we got here? Lester also says one more thing. Y'all need to give Tim his credit. He has never steered us wrong. Thank you for keeping it real. We also, I was talking to Big Lester yesterday, and everything that 5 hours before the official report came out, we had reported on a live stream that everything that John Harbaugh wanted, because someone told us. Someone that was in the Giant, who works in and around the Giant facility, who's never steered us wrong, told us exactly what he wanted. And we reported it online 5 hours before it happened, that this is what he wants. And everyone, no one ever gives us any credit. Literally, I gotta say, no one gives us any credit for anything. So it was nice. It was nice to finally get, some kudos. Well, we never got the kudos, but it was nice to get some recognition. But no one credits us with shit. But we did report it 5 hours. Hold on. What is this? Stop texting me, people. Yeah, I know. I'm on the stream. Hold on. Ugh. Okay, here we go. Now we got this right. Someone's texting me here. I have to go to here. I got to go here a second. Here, I got to go there a second. Why do people text me when I'm on the stream? You could just come on the stream and I don't have to answer your text messages. I know that is a crazy thought and rationale, but it does. Davey says, breaking news, Joe Schoen is floating his resume at 2 Fortune 500 companies, Dunkin' Donuts, and Starbucks. Mike Lee says, let's see how the draft, free agency, and preseason shakes out. Believe we reverse our playoff before we reverse our playoff tickets. I think we'll be better, but 4 wins is such a low bar. I'm still saying that we're going to be looking at minimum of 5 to 7 wins. That's what I'm saying. That is literally what I'm saying. And I think that we just need to, we need to hold that expectation. Now, I want Harbaugh to tell me over and over again that we are going to be, I want him to tell me over and over again, we are going to be the greatest team in the history of the NFC East. I want him to tell him that. I want to have that over exuberance. I want to have that unbridled enthusiasm, because it's been we've had to go through so much as fans. We had to go through so much as we would hire these coordinators and these people that just weren't qualified for these positions. And we were supposed to be like, that's the greatest thing ever. And it never was. But now you literally have a coach that is going to come in here and be a difference maker. There's no longer, we have a coach that nobody wants to listen to. You have a Super Bowl winning coach with a pedigree coming into your building that is just going to be phenomenal. It's just going to be something different, something that we have not seen. Here we go. We're at the John Harbaugh welcome party. I had to make sure we had our I wanted to make sure that we had our John Harbaugh welcome party up and running. because we have to make sure that Big John knows that we love him. Here we go. Welcome, John. Welcome to the New York Football Giants. Why did my camera move? The camera moved. Oh, my God. I got so many problems here. So much. More money, more problems. I don't have the money, though. But I got the problems. Just kidding. Hey-oh, not like the New York Football Giants. Welcome to the New York Football Giants, Mr. Harbaugh. You know what? I have to rephrase that. Welcome to the New York Giants, Coach Harbaugh. I'm gonna make sure we get it right. Juan says, Tim, GM team, finally we get it done. Let's make the Giants great again. Mr. Greg says, why is Joe Schoen still around? We already talked about that. Skyline says, good morning, everyone. Whether snow, nor sleet, nor rain has hailed Joe Harbaugh from coming to New York. Yeah, Harbaugh came to New York, but my freaking FedEx package has been delayed. Go explain that one to me. Yesterday, David says, yesterday I was so NFL Firm's jersey guy. Loved it. That's a good one. Let's see. Can you behold, says Joe Schoen will be relegated to the grounds crew. No, we don't want him screwing up the turf. The turf is fucked up as it is. We don't need to screw up the turf. Davey says, Tim, what kind of control John Harbaugh got? Well, evidently he's probably got final say over everything, and he's reporting directly to the owner, which is everything we reported that he wanted, but I'm not going to say anything. Greg's just happy. Riz won. The great says, let's get some W's. It's been a while. W's. What are they? That's before X, right? That's a letter before X. Yes, let's get some W's. I wonder if they will let Joe Schoen speak a lot or take. Oh, no. No. If I'm the Giants, I'm having either Mara or Tish introduce Harbaugh, and then I'm going right into the Harbaugh press conference. I'm not fucking this up. Big Funky Town says Falcons new head coach. I'm baffled why. Who's the Falcons new head coach? I don't know who's the Falcons new head coach. Kevin Stefanski. I'm so glad Kevin Stefanski. The stench of Kevin Stefanski is not anywhere near here. I am so ecstatic about that. I don't understand how a guy in 6 years, yeah, he won 2 Coach of the Years, but he also had 4 losing seasons. I mean, really bad losing seasons, like giant bad losing seasons. Let's see. RWB. Whoops. Where did that go? RWB says, good morning, Tim and everyone in the chat. Doom and gloom is over, but Joe Schoen is still employed. So did Harbaugh win the power struggle completely, or is it a money enough to he won the power struggle. Listen, when you are getting that much money, when you are getting that much cash from an organization, yeah, you won the power struggle, because at $100 million, this guy is probably just like, you know what? Fuck this. I could go any place. And at this point in time, when the Giants made the unofficial announcement, John Harbaugh, this is why I already love John Harbaugh. This is literally why I love John Harbaugh already. He already had the Giants over a barrel as soon as they made that announcement on Thursday. They already had him over a barrel. He could have came back and said, you know what? I want the Statue of Liberty, and I would like you to get it, and please put it in my backyard in Jersey. Because I'm not going to be mean until you got to fly back to Baltimore. Just put it in my yard in Jersey, so I could build a miniature golf course around it. Yeah, he was cock locked and ready to rock. He already had it. Big Juan says, we got the Big Juan. We already got that one down. What do we got? Chris saying, hey, Tim, what's up? Finally got something to look forward to. We do. Greg says, why is Joe Schoen still around? I don't know. Skyline says, good morning, everyone. We already got to that one. Let's see here. We got to that one. Let's see. Let's get to William here. It's nice to know that even though we've been a dumpster fire recently, the NFL purists still believe in the legacy of the Giants. I wasn't sure, honestly. We got to remember that he is 64 years old. It's not like we went out and got another 37-year-old coach. We got a coach with an NFL pedigree. We got a coach that has, we got a coach who has, we've said it before, who has one of these. This is the coach that we have. He doesn't have this one, but he's got one of these. That's the kind of coach we have now. So all this nonchalant attitude that certain players had, like falling asleep in meetings, I'm looking at you, Abdul Carter, and all this other bullshit that goes on, the dancing in the end zone, all this. No. you have an NFL coach who's going to be more worried about winning than whether you can do the latest TikTok dance in the end zone. And that's what this team needs. This team has been a rudderless ship. They need a direction. They need a direction to take this organization to a place that is someplace totally different than where we've been. And that's what we need to do. And that's what we need to be a part of. And that's what this is the way this organization is heading. Oh, what's that? Dom can't go on. Todd says, what kind of science do we have? Didn't seem like very. That's the problem. That's the problem. John Harbaugh's like, well, they got the science here. The only problem is we were looking at microbiology. We weren't using that science for football. That's the problem. Jay Sports Card says, Tim Harbaugh deflated Joe Schoen's ego in his role. Oh, I know. I love it. I love it. And listen, guys, there's going to be this whole thing when they're like, Joe Schoen is still going to be a vital asset and an importance to this organization. We're just not giving him an extension to his contract now because there's no fucking need to it because he's going to be gone next year. That should be, Tim, we sucked. Is an upgrade to where we were. More like a disaster is a good start to a description of where we are. We have a mad science department. Yeah, we do. Juan says, in reality, I think we'll probably give Shane more PR role than Harbaugh, bringing his own guys next year. I agree. Big Trenton says, getting ready for church. Yeah, you're going to have to go pray because the Giants are back in the NFC East. I'm telling you right now, Trent, we literally have the best coach in the NFC East. This is a good one by Trent. This is Trent. You want I know you're going to church. I know you might be late, but do you want to jump on? I'll put the link in the chat. Do you want to jump on a second and cry in your beer a little bit? Cry in your soggy fucking Philly cheesesteak. We let Trenton, James, myself, I can't remember who else was on. We let Philosopher. We let Trenton have it the other day. But we love Trenton. That's why we always have Trenton on, even though he's an Eagle fan. I hope the playoff quota ages better than Joe. Yeah. People say I'm a genius, but how can you really screw up 5 and 7? B. Will says and I love it because I love that Joe Schoen said about screwing up 5 and 7. Well, I stubbed my toe. He equates him fucking up 2 complete drafts. Trenton, you're in the car. You're wearing the Eagles hat. Eagles suck. Tell us now how are going to be crying in your soggy cheesesteak that the New York Football Giants finally have a head coach. And your wife better be driving.
Well, she is. Okay, we're on our way to church now, so I thought I'd just hop on. I do think Harbaugh is a serious upgrade for you guys. However, I'm confident with the overall infrastructure in Philadelphia, from ownership to GM to whoever our offensive coordinator ends up being, that we'll still edge you guys out in the NFC East at least.
Does Sirianni have any other friends that he wants to make offensive coordinator? Does he have any other buddies he wants to bring in?
He does. They better not be working on the staff.
That always works out. I'm getting to think I want to be his friend, so I can be the 2026 Eagles offensive coordinator.
I mean, apparently you can get promoted to some high positions if you're friends with Sirianni and not have to be qualified for the job either.
Well, that sounds like the old Giant way. You can be head coach. You're not qualified, but you can still be head coach. Not anymore, though. Not anymore. You are now I'm going to say the Eagles now have the second best head coach. I will give you that. I'm not going to.
That's fair.
I'm not going to say
that's honestly fair. I'd say I'd like to see how you guys fill out your staff as a whole, like who the coordinators are going to be under Harbaugh, because I think that'll be important as well.
He's just bringing everyone over from Baltimore.
There's the whole Baltimore staff. Is he bringing Lamar Jackson too?
I hope to God he is. But to your point, though, you had a great, and this is why I saw this. I want to have you on real quick. John Harbaugh might save Jackson Dart from failing. I thought that was probably the most apropos comment of the day, that he may literally save Jackson Dart from himself, because I cannot see Jackson Dart telling John Harbaugh, I don't slide. That's not my game.
Yeah, I don't think CTE Chipmunk Scatabo is going to be very happy either. I don't think Harbaugh is going to let him lead with his head on every play like he usually does.
He said Scatabo says he's ready to roll now that Hardball is in the fold, but I do think there's going to be a lot of changes in reference to, I hate the word culture because of what Joe Judge used to say, but I think there's going to be a lot of culture change and a lot of different attitude in the organization once John Harbaugh officially hits the building on Tuesday.
Yeah, I agree. That it should be interesting to see how immediate that takes over.
It's going to be immediate, brother.
I don't think you'll have neighbors tweeting about the team. No. Yep, I don't think you'll have neighbors tweeting about the team either, like he's accustomed to. So, but no, I got to get going. It was good to hop on real quick. Good to see you.
All right, brother, man. I appreciate you. Tell the wife we said hi. All right, there we go. We got the Eagle fan coming in here. We got RWB, the Super Chat. All Super Chats go to the Philadelphia Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. I thought holy places and symbols repelled Eagle fans. They do. They do. If you want to get rid of an Eagle fan, you just throw holy water at them. No, that's not nice. That's not nice. True, but not nice. That was RWB. That was kind of funny. It was fucked up, but it was funny. Yeah, but there is to the point that Trenton had, I actually do think now that something like I do think that I might get a new mic. I think about getting a new mic. Why not? But to Trenton's point, I think in some regards he may save Jackson Dart from himself. Because could you imagine Jackson Dart in a quarterback meeting after you had two-time MVP Lamar Jackson as your quarterback and say, you know what? I don't slide. That's not part of my game. I have a feeling that John Harbaugh will go in there and say, motherfucker, lead with your feet. Because if you're my quarterback, it doesn't help any if you're not on the field. I have a feeling. Hopefully we keep Carmen. The former Ravens offensive line coach is actually interviewing with the Giants. I'm not sure when that is, but that is going to be soon. Let's get some W's. It's been a while. Yeah, it has been a while. William J. It's nice to know that we even through dumpster recent firings. Yeah, we got that one. Let's see here. Matt Science Department's going to church. John Harbaugh statement from Dart. B. Wills says there's going to be a lot of sandwich making and coffee bringing. I don't see Joe Schoen this season. I hope to God we don't see him at all. No more planes flying around MetLife Stadium. Thank God. I was getting so tired of planes flying around MetLife and people not hitting the like button. Oh, I'm sorry. One thing didn't have to do with another. Or maybe we have 101 people watching in this one thing, another 90 something watching in the other place. And we have 41 likes. I'm sorry. I'll just shut my big mouth. No, hit the like button. I'm not going to shut my big mouth. Gary says, what does Gary say? When will we wake up, lol, offensive line? Damn it. O-line. I'm telling you, man, Tyler Lindenbaum, the Lindenbaum. We got to bring in the Lindenbaum. We have to move on from JMS. And like I said, I love JMS. I love JMS like he is a long lost nephew. I love him because he's a JMS is my long lost nephew. I showed that picture to Big Dash yesterday and he goes, oh dear Lord, I can't unsee that. He's like, you two do look exactly alike, except I have better hair. That was a bad hair day though, because it was Big L day. It was raining that day. That was a bad hair day. But we're going to get through it. We're going to get through it because we don't need to get through things anymore because we're back, baby. And you know what's also back? What we need to remember, what we all need to love, the mighty FanDuel. FanDuel.com, the number one sports book in America. Boy, some of you took a beating yesterday because of that damn Bills game. And that to me was not an interception. I'm not going to get into that, but that was not an interception. He was clearly down by contact. He actually touched him while his knees hit the ground, but it is what it is. But on the mightyfanduel.com, of course, they're in playoff mode right now. New customers bet $5 to get $300 in bonus bets if you win. So go and join the sportsbook. I actually enjoyed downloading the app, which I've already done. The FanDuel also has, if you're into casino games, such as the slot games, you can join them. You got fantasy football, you got fantasy everything, you got racing book, you got research you can be doing. You can do the FanDuel TV because we love the FanDuel TV. Let's go to the sports book right now because I do want to see. I am curious. Let's see. There's a good parlay I just saw. This is the same game parlay. $10 wager wins you 87.41. Stevenson, anytime touchdown score Marks, anytime touchdown scorer. Drake May, let's see, 175 yards plus. I can see that. CJ Stroud, 175 yards plus. And that's a $10 bet. Get you $87.41. That's actually a pretty good parlay. I would take the Texans and the 2.5 or the 3. Oh, it looks like 3. It looks like the line shifted. No, line's still at 2.5. I would take the Bears and give the points. So I think that's a good bet right there. I think that's a solid bet right there. Yeah, those are, I would say those are probably your best bets right now. I would see that. Oh, there's a profit boost on playoff mode. Playoff mode right now, get a profit boost, or it's called a profit boost pack with 2 profit boosts to use on NFL games on 1/18th, 30% profit boost to use on any 3-leg parlay wager, and 25% profit boost to use on any time touchdown wager. And of course, that's on the mighty FanDuel.com, FanDuel.com, #1 sportsbook in America. And don't forget to game responsibly. Got to do all that fun. Got to do the fan. We love FanDuel, though. We love the FanDuel. Let's see here. Let's go down in the chat because I want to make sure I don't miss anyone today because people were complaining. Money Mike says, hands down, the best coach, Eagles coach is a joke. Oh, no. If you look at the shakedown now of the NFC East, if you look at how it breaks down, John Harbaugh is literally by default the best coach in the NFC East. Not even close. It's not there is John Harbaugh. There's John Harbaugh, dirt, manure, 3 levels of shit, then Nick Sirianni. That's all I'm gonna say. Love you, Trenton. Todd says they only really won 2 games this year. If you win 6, it's a massive improvement. Yeah, to me, it is an improvement. I think they're gonna win. I've said it before. We have predicted with some scary accuracy the last 3 years where the Giants were going to finish. Last year, I said they were a 3 to 4 win team. This year, I said they're a 3 to 5 win team. The year before, everyone's like, we're going to go to the Super Bowl. I said, no, this is a 6 win team. This team, I cannot give you a prediction yet because I don't know what's going on. He hasn't even started yet. Let's get his staff in place. Let's have him take a look at the organization. Let's have him start getting rid of guys. And like I said, with JMS, I would get rid of JMS, bring in Tyler Lindenbaum, so help solidify the center of that line, give Jackson Dart an actual NFL center, have Andrew Thomas on the one side. I've already said it. I know it's not sexy, and I know it's not sexy at all, but I'm taking a tackle in the first round. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a tackle in the first round. I don't care what fucking Joe Schoen says. Joe Schoen can don't go in, man. Just go away. Before I wanted to go defense. Well, first of all, if Reese is there, I would take Reese, but Reese isn't going to get past Arizona. I'm taking a tackle. I'm taking either the big guy. I'm probably taking the big guy out of Miami. What's his name? Francis. I can't think of Francis' last name, but I'm taking Francis. I'm taking the big kid out of Miami. And even if I decide to trade down a little bit, I can still get a big tackle because then I'm going to put him on the right side. I'm going to have Andrew Thomas on the left. I'm going to figure out my guard situation. And I'm going to solidify my line by going out and get Tyler Lindenbaum. Now, the only problem with going out and getting the Linderbaum is very simple. And also, you cannot take we've said this before a million times, guys. In the top 10, this is why it does not happen because it's referred to as positional value. Top 10 in the draft, you don't take a safety, you don't take a defensive tackle, and you don't take a tight end. Those are 3 positions you do not take in the NFL draft in the top 10 because the positional value is just not there for those 3 positions. That's why offensive tackles, quarterbacks, running backs, defensive edges, defensive ends, they all go high up. But I'm taking. I know it's not sexy. I know it's not what the Giants want. I like Fano. I like the big kid out of Utah. Maybe trade down with the Dolphins to 11, get some additional picks, take Fano out of Utah, help solidify the offensive line, grab a running back in the second round. I do like Sonny Styles, but as a linebacker, if I can't get Reese, but I don't want to take Sonny Styles over. I don't want to take him I don't want to take him that high. But I'm saying and also, what's his name? Proctor out of Alabama. He's another one. It's not sexy. I understand. It is not sexy. It is not sexy at all. But it makes sense. You will have the most amount of cap space allocated to the defensive line out of any team in the NFL. They always say you win in the trenches. You build through the trenches. Well, Eagles proved that. Eagles at one point in time in the Super Bowl run had the best offensive line, the best defensive line. Let's just follow the Eagle model. Why not? Let's steal one good thing from the Eagles. Todd said AFC Championship game. Bronco fans have to be upset at as Bills fans. I do too. Oh yeah, the breaking he breaks his ankle. That's just fucked up. Broncos should call Peyton or Eli to come back and win them a Super Bowl. RWB says hit the like button. Everyone, Joe Schoen will be demoted to hot dog vendor in section 329. That's not right. That's just wrong. He's not going to be He's not going to be demoted to hot dog vendor section 329. He is going to have his own hot dog stand, Joe Schoen's hot dogs, in the front row in the Coaches Club at Giant Stadium. It's going to be Joe Schoen's hot dogs and podcast. That's what Big Joe is going to be doing. I know this channel is so awesome. We just everything we do. Mr. Greg says, I feel like a winner again. Juan says Eli Manning still might have something left. Broncos should give him a call. What's Riz says wins will finally be a normal thing from now. I'm excited. I do love that. Davey says for now his name is Vanilla Joe. Vanilla Joe. Nah, that wasn't a good one. Come on, Dave. You can do better than that. J Sports Card says shh. Heard what you heard? I would heard. It's the Ghost Brothers. Oh, wait a minute. Damn it. I need a producer so they can read ahead of the time. So then I can find the clips before someone asks something and says something, because that would just be so professional. No, let's go back to the beginning. Taj says, honestly, we should have seen how interested Rivers is. Lol. Jay Sports Card said, sure. Shh. Hear what I hear?
Submitted for your approval. The Ghost Brothers. Nobody needs to be afraid.
Boom. We call that professionalism. What do we got here? Get down a super chat from big old Zach Attack. And I'm going to go back to the top of the chat again. Zach Attack, of course, all super chats go to the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. What is Joe Schoen's role? A water boy. We can make Joe Schoen Bobby Boucher. Why not? I could see that. Maybe he could play linebacker. You know? Why not? It could happen. You gotta, you know what? I don't feel bad for Joe Schoen. I was about to say, you gotta feel bad for Joe Schoen. I don't feel bad for Joe Schoen. He screwed the pooch the last 4 years. He did this to himself. And I would like to say that he didn't. You have to say that he didn't. He did, though. He did this to himself. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you're going to say. It's poor drafting, poor cap management, poor free agency. That's all it is. I can't see anything different as this. And like I said, you want to feel bad for him, but you really can't. And I feel that there is this contingent of Giant fans, and it's a very small contingent. I would say it's like 2-3% who thinks Joe Schoen did a good job because he made a smart pick in Malik Neighbors and he took Jackson Dart. But we honestly, like I said, we don't know 100% what Jackson Dart's going to be yet. We have to go by the premise and the hope that what Harbaugh did in Baltimore, he can do the same thing with Jackson Dart. That's what we have to go with. What do we got? What's up, T-Brad? Hit the like button. T, why don't you come on a second? Are you available to come on a second? I would like to get T-Brad's take on all this. So T-Brad, if you'd like to come on a second, anyone, if you want to come on, that's fine. If anyone wants to come on for a few minutes or more, then we're going to put the link in the chat. But I would be curious to see what's the hardened the most hardened Giant fans, also known as what you call it, T-Brad, what he has to say and what he thinks. I would be curious. Wearing at my heart. Hold on, I'm still answering text messages. We're planning something. I'm planning something right now, and I shouldn't be doing it now, but I'm planning something right now for our big 1 million episode party. So I'm trying to see what's going on here, but I'm planning something right now, because like I said, without you guys, there's no way we could have there's no way we could have hit 1 million downloads if it was not for the everyone here that just did all that they could do, and it's just, like I said, it's a moment that we all need to revel. Like John, this is just as big as John Harbaugh. We have to revel in this moment and kind of go from there. But let's go back up to the chat here. I got rid of my email. I had to take that. Making sausage making. You making sausage? Or that what's Joe Shane's going to? Jay Ferry says, hot take, JMS underrated, and Linderbaum overrated. No, you don't look at, no, you don't look at that. You both look at the farm boys. Here's the problem. Tyler Linderbaum has gotten better every year in the NFL. He is a 3-time Pro Bowler. People will tell you, well, his pass blocker rating is not good. Well, no, people do enjoy Pro Football Focus. I surely don't. But if you go by the actual stats and everything else, his pass blocker rating has gone from a low of 52% or flow of 52 point, whatever it is that Pro Football does, up to 87 the last 2 years. That's what it's done. So he's improved on his You could have said that his pass blocking ability years ago was not good, but it's gotten better every year. His run blocking ability has always been there, has always been at top of the line. And the only reason they did not pick up his 5th-year option, the way that your 5th-year option is calculated, and it's kind of weird and it's kind of fucked up. Linderbaum would have got $26.5 million his 5th year, because it goes by position. But the problem is the offensive line matrix isn't done by position. It's calculated by all the offensive linemen in the league. So that's the thing, though. Normally, like when you go and you're doing the salary cap and you tag someone, it's the highest level of the position. But in the 5th-year option, they don't do it that way. They do it for all offensive linemen. So he's blocked in with tackles. He's blocked in with all these guys. So it would have been $26.5 million or $26.8 million for Linderbaum to stay in Baltimore. And they thought that was kind of a large number, so they didn't pick up his 5th-year option. The dude's an unrestricted free agent. Same with Isaiah Likely, the tight end, who I think the Giants should massively decide and massively start working towards. So Linderbaum is not being moved out of Baltimore because of his ineptitude. He isn't being moved out of Baltimore because he has played too well. That's what he's being moved. That's what he's being moved on. That's why he's being moved on from. And that's what Giant fans need to remember. But the only problem is you have a lot of teams that are going to be in that hunt. I worry about the Chargers because the Chargers have over $100 million in cap space. I worry about a lot of teams that have a lot of money. I worry about the Raiders, who could potentially bring in a rookie. The Raiders are going to bring in a rookie quarterback. We know that. They're going to bring in a rookie quarterback. It's going to be Fernando Mendoza. Why wouldn't you get him the best center available, the best protection you can with that money? So you have to hope that maybe the Giants can do something where, or maybe we can get a little bit. I'm not going to say a home team discount because of the fact that, Tyler's, of course, Tyler Linderbaum's not from New York, but he does maybe a hometown discount for the wonderful Joe Schoen. Can't believe I said that, for the wonderful John Harbaugh. So maybe he can do that. let's kind of hope and go from there. Michael says, Tim, great day. John is making all the decisions. GM can get the coffee. We've already shown it. Building a program almost like making sausage. Okay, now it makes sense. T Rose says, running from the AFC Harbaugh trash to the HTTC. I know. Big Chris says, that's what I'm looking forward to. Culture change. Enough of this bullshit with players who have done nothing acting like they own it. It's going to be a little bit of a rude awakening for some of these players, because you've had, and I loved it before, because we did we had Carl Banks on, of course. The first time we had Carl Banks on, he told the story of the Parcells guy, and we did a clip of it. We did a clip of it on one of our videos. I think it was on which video was? Oh, it was on the John Harbaugh guy videos. And we played the entire clip, and he talked about how in '84, before the Giants got good again, how they were going to have that Parcells says, listen, they're going to fire my ass, and we're going to have to do things my way. And some of the things that we're going to do my way, you may not like, because we're going to get rid of people that you may like as players, as people, but we need to clear out the locker room and do things the right way. And that's what he literally talked about in reference to the Parcells guys. So I'm hoping that we're going to have, like I said, I'm hoping we're going to have that. Harbaugh's been around long enough. I'm hoping that we're going to have the Harbaugh guys, that they're going to come in here and teach a culture change and teach a culture shift. A lot of people will tell you, hey, listen, you know what? He didn't do that great in Baltimore towards the end. Yeah, but sometimes you just wear out your welcome in some places. Andy Reid did it in Philadelphia. It happens. So this is what we're just going to have to just take a deep breath, understand that we have finally reached a crescendo where we have a head coach who is going to come in here and start doing things the right way. Come on, we got 120 something people watching. We got 63 likes. Let's hit like now, please. Get that like button in for, of course, my friend Zach Attack. We did find this picture of Joe Schoen's new job. Zach Attacks was correct. We have it now. Joe Schoen has found a new job outside of the New York Giants organization. It's going to be the Waterboy 2 with Joe Schoen. It's the Waterboy. He is going to star in Joe Schoen now. The Waterboy 2 coming to theaters near you in 2026. So make sure you stay tuned for Joe Schoen's new role in the Waterboy 2. Thank you, Zach. Zach, I did not know that you had all this information. Let's see. Hopefully, Mike Lee says, hopefully we can learn how to tackle again. I will say this about Baltimore. Baltimore has shown different. Baltimore has been in flux since they lost Wink. And I will say this about their tackling. I'll say this about their ability to tackle. They're not the worst team in the league, but they're not the best team in the league. But they are fundamentally coached. So this is what we're gonna. Plus, it doesn't hurt to to have some of the players that they have. And that's what I was saying. We have to turn around and see exactly, like I said, we have to see who they're bringing in. And I love it because Mark Andrews suffered actually a bad injury back in 2024 on a bad tackle, which is one of the reasons they went to the hip drop tackle fiasco. So we're gonna be curious to see what's going on. Patrick says these players will know better than that with Mr. Harbaugh. I agree. What do we see here? Let's go back up a little bit. Let's see. Joe Ferry says, I like Trenton a lot, but Jalen Hurts, $117 million cap hit shows us for a mediocre quarterback. I rejoice. No, you're not right. You're not right about his. I don't think you're right about Jalen Hurts cap hit. You may be, like I always say, people have, I always laugh when I say it's $497 million. Right now, Jalen Hurts' cap hit is $31 million. Yes, I did. Yes, it's $31 million. Listen, the Jalen Hurts contract is should be a breakdown. They should teach that in capology class. They literally should teach that in capology class, because Jalen Hurts wasn't now you're talking his dead cap number. You're not talking his cap number. You're talking his dead cap number. They're not getting rid of Jalen Hurts. This is why Howie is so genius in how he builds these contracts. He gives them all the money up front, and then by year 27, when he's 29, it goes down to 45. And then the next year it goes down to 24. Then they don't owe him anything after 2008. It's the dichotomy of the perfect contract. And I love it because one of Jalen Hurts' demands was,
I want a no trade clause.
Howie said, okay, sure. Because Howie knew he had $100 million dead cap number 4 straight years. So he knew there was no way in hell he was ever moving on from Jalen Hurts. It's a masterclass in contract structure. And you have to, I will give him that. I mean, I'll give the Eagles that. I'm starving like Marvin, girl, because my rats come in packs like Sammy and Dean Martin. Tim, so Harbaugh has the final decision over Joe Schoen when it comes to operations of player decisions. That's what it looks like, yeah. We're going to get more details on, what's that day? On Tuesday during the press conference. Tim still feels so good about John. You should feel good about John Harbaugh. You should. What do you think about Deonte Banks' trade value? No, nothing. Deonte Banks does not. The Giants wished Deonte Banks had a trade value. The Giants are literally sitting there going, damn, I really wish Deonte Banks had a trade value. There is no trade value. There's no trade value whatsoever. But I will tell you this. I don't think his first season under Wink was an aberration. I don't think that. I think that his first season under Wink was what this guy is and what he can be. He just went into an defensive style that he wasn't built to play. How can you sit there? And the same thing with Paulson Adebo. I do think a lot of times the Paulson Adebo was injury related. But how do you sit there and you tell Paulson Adebo and Deonte Banks, your press cover man-to-man corners, we're going to play in the zone. And then all of a sudden it's going to be like, well, what we may do is we may start playing a little bit of zone defense. I should rephrase it. We may play a little bit of man-to-man during the season when the season's over. That doesn't work, guys. I literally wish that worked, but it doesn't work. So I think Deonte Banks' literal trade value right now is nothing, but could you potentially get something for Deonte Banks? I think I don't think you can right now. I think you have to rebuild up his value again. And I think the best way to reestablish his value is to bring in a coach that's going to understand the way this kid plays. And I think that's exactly what we need to look at. But there's going to be what you call it. There's going to be, we've just kind of reached a crescendo right now that this whole staff, we're going to have to go through this whole staff. We're going to have to go through this whole situation that we're in right now with the Giants. We're going to have to go through exactly everything that we have to go through in regards to seeing where we need to be at right now. And that's what we're going to have to do. And that's all we're going to do. We're going to be fine. Robert says, I believe in Harbaugh to make the playoffs next year. There's too much talent on this team. All we need is a leader to get us there. Knew there was talent, but find why he chases us. Go G-Man. Chooses us. Go G-Man. He chose us because it's New York, it's legacy, and it's $100 million. There's like 7 guys on this roster. I expect a total revamp of this roster. I expect a almost complete turnover in this roster. That's what I expect him to do. I expect him to come in here and say, okay, listen, it's time to get rid of guys that are underperforming. It's time to get rid of guys who are not performing. It's time to get rid of guys that just don't fit the system. Yeah, and this is what people need to understand. There's going to be moments where we're going to take a little ding on the salary cap in certain situations, in certain places that we're going to. There's no way, there's literally no way around that. We are going to take some dings. We are going to have some problems, which is fine. because it's going to be called growing pains. And for those that think that we are immediately going to be this contender, we're not immediately going to be a contender. It's going to take time and it's going to take patience. And the question is going to be, as Giant fans, can certain segment of the Giant fans wait a little bit longer for this to happen? I feel like we need to change the party venue. Let me see. Can we change the party venue? I want to change the party venue. I like the party venue, but I don't think we should change it. But it's not allowing me to upload my background. Why is it not uploading my background? Oh my God. I hate computers. I hate technology. Fucking hate technology. Who doesn't? Oh, here we go. We had to save the background. Oh, I didn't save it. So it wasn't the computer. It was just me being stupid. There was a choice for me being stupid. We actually I decided to run over to MetLife and just jump into the locker room. So we have the Welcome Joe party. There we go. Welcome to the New York Giants. We want to make sure we have that for Big Joe. Hey, how is Harbaugh going to go from the best front office in pro sports to Joe Schoen and the Keystone Cops? That's actually a valid question. You're not wrong. You're not wrong with that question. Joe Schoen has Titanic this team into the iceberg for 4 years. You are coming from, starting with Ozzie Newsome, you are coming from a model organization who has won consistently for 18 years outside of 2 seasons, and you're coming to the team that's made the playoffs 2 times in 15 years and won 1 game. Yeah, it's good. It's gonna be, I don't think it's, you know what? I don't think it's gonna be a culture shock for Harbaugh. I think it's going to be a culture shock for a lot of the people in the Giants building. Now you should do Hard Knocks. Now 72. Come on, get up to 82 likes. We got 115 people watching the one place, another whatever watching the other place. Make sure you hit the like button. Come on, guys. Let's get to 100 Get to 100 likes, or Joe Schoen's going to stay here as general manager. But it's going to be different. Juan says, I saw the video Harbaugh teaching technique to the players at a practice field. This guy is a real coach for once. Oh yeah, I'm excited to have tickets again. Jay says, and Joe says, and Tim, if the Giants love Joe Schoen so much, shouldn't they have extended him? Oh, they're not going to extend him. They would have extended him if they signed Kevin Stefanski. There's no need to extend him. You're right. Because I think they're going to say, they're not going to officially say it, but I think they're going to be like, well, Joe Schoen is a bridge. Joe Schoen will be under evaluation of John Harbaugh. Coach, I love it better. Coach Harbaugh. He'll be under evaluation of Coach Harbaugh. And at this point in time, we'll have to see where we are with him. And at the end of the day, it'll be Coach Harbaugh. I love that. I love that. Coach Harbaugh's decision, whether he stays or he goes, but it's a decision. What did Miss Queen says? Hi, I'm new on Twitch. I just wanted to ask you that before tomorrow's game, if I don't see you. I must have missed the, we're on Twitch now too, but I'm sorry, Mrs. I must have missed that. I must have missed that. And we're going to go slider though. Let's see here. Let's see here. Let me go. I got to find where we were. Where were we in the chat? All right, here we go. The Giants are closer than the record might imply. We need a couple of linebackers, a coordinator he knows, and hey, we are doing the sky's the limit. Al, I love you, brother. We need a couple linebackers. We potentially need 2 starting corners. You need potentially 2 safeties. Because, like I've said it before, Tyler Nubin, I am buying the motherfucker a protractor. Because he doesn't understand angles. Holland did not get any better than his bad season in Miami. And we have to see what Paulson Adebo is going to be year 2 post-injury. Which is why most teams didn't even have him in their top 7 of free agent corners, because the word around the league for Paulson Adebo was give him 2 years, 20, guarantee the 10, make the second year a player option. And if he performs well after his surgery, we then turn around and we re-sign him. No, Joe Schoen, I'm going to give him 54-36 guaranteed because I'm the smartest motherfucker in the room. Joe, you're no longer even the smartest motherfucker in the building. In any building. You can go to Quiznos, and Joe Schoen is no longer the smartest motherfucker anywhere. Because Coach Harbaugh's here. I love that. I love that name. I love that Harbaugh. Coach Harbaugh. Coach Harbaugh. I've said it before. I said, if we couldn't get Coach Harbaugh, I wanted my coach to be Tank Winner. Who's that? That's Coach Winner. What's his first name? Tank. Because you're never a loser when your first name is Tank and your last name's a winner. But I'll take Harbaugh just as easy. Patch says, guys will know better than to do dumb shit to be unsafe. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's over. It's over. There and there's a euphoria from Giant players, like there should be. But that euphoria is going to change a little bit because the nonsense is over. The stupidity is over. The doing the dumb shit, the taking off your shirt on Monday Night Football and acting like a moron is over. Drinking out of a shoe on social media is over. Blasting your coaching staff on social media is over. Doing TikTok dances in the end zone is over. You know what's going to be back? You know what's back? Accountability and football. So if you want to go be a TikTok star, you want to go drink alcohol out of a shoe, you want to act like a moron, you want to not come here and play, it's over. It's done. People will, this is the good thing. This is what current Giant players need to get and understand. You are getting a clean slate. You are getting now the ability to start over within the organization. There's certain players like Jalen Hyatt, who I do not think will have that ability to take advantage of that renewed lease on life, because I do think the Giants are going to get rid of him. But you are literally going to have an opportunity to start anew. And it's going to be interesting how he evaluates the talent from the outside perspective in Harbaugh, because he's not in the building. He hasn't been in the building. So I'm curious. Like Wan'Dale Robinson, we've said this before. Everyone's like, we got to sign him. And I've saw it before. People are like, well, he's going to be that slot guy like Steve Smith was over in Baltimore. No, Steve Smith was a guy that had like a 14.7, his average yards per reception was like 14.7. Wan'Dale Robinson is like 8. And I've said people want to give Wan'Dale Robinson the farm when he had 400 yards in 3 games. I'm going to say this again. He had 400 yards in 3 games. And the other 14 games, he had 600 yards. Average, out of those 4 games, he averaged 47.8 yards. I don't know if that's going to cut it with John Harbaugh. And there's going to be players like we heard with the Parcells story, about the Parcells guys. They're going to be guys that we're going to get rid of, and you're going to be like, oh shit. And Wan'Dale Robinson, 142 the second game of the season, 156 against Detroit, and then 113 against the Raiders. Then you look at his other games, 55, 26, 34, 55, 26, 14, 30, 84, 48, 46, 62, 36, 34, 54, 19. Those are his other games. How can you pay a guy off of 3 games where 40% of his yards came from? No, you can't. Joe Schoen got a lot of balls to be horrific at his GM job and make a Super Bowl winning report to you. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Patrick says these guys will know better than with Mr. Harbaugh. Chris says, I'm looking forward to it. Wait, I got to that one. Let's see here. We got to that one. I want Carmen to stay. And you want 40. And you want McFadden. You want to be honest. McFadden is not I don't like I said, we're going to compare everything to Baltimore at first because that's what we know Harbaugh from. That's outside of being a special teams coordinator with the Eagles. McFadden is not what I would refer to as a prototypical Baltimore Ravens type linebacker. And he still has a 12.9% missed tackle percentage. He does. So it's going to be, like I said, there's going to be a lot of guys that people love that he's just going to say, nah, I'm good. We're going to go a different direction. And there's going to be some cap issues. Cause like I said, right now we only have 11%. We only have $11 million in cap space. Yes, you can clear it up to 40 million. You can probably find another 40 million to have like $50 million in cap space. But I tried to explain to people over and over again. Okay. So one of the things people are like, well, get rid of Runyon. Okay. So you're going to get rid of Runyon to open up $6 million, but who's taking Runyon's spot? Is it going to be someone in free agency that you're going to have to sign? Get rid of Bobby Okereke. I have no problem with that. Here's the problem I have, though. Who are you replacing Bobby Okereke with? So you are going to deplete your roster of players for cap space, but then need to turn around and re-sign players. You see the issue? That's the giant way to do things. Carmen can stay. I got no problem with Carmen staying, but the former offensive line coach of the Ravens is coming in for an interview next week, I heard. Tim, great day. John is in charge, making all the decisions. GM can get coffee. Yeah, we already said that. We showed that on the thing. And also, like I said, we had our secret cameras inside the facility. There was day one with Joe Schoen at his new coffee shop called The Daily Grind. Joe Schoen coffee at its best. So, Mike, don't forget to go to The Daily Grind for Joe Schoen's coffee. Mr. Perry says, and if he don't, John Harbaugh will simply draft his own quarterback. You're right. That's the thing. And that's the thing I love. If John Harbaugh finds in year 2 or 3 he doesn't want Jackson Dart, he's got the cachet now to get his own. Get his own quarterback. Patrick said, face it, the Giants fans building a program is making sausage out of hot dogs. It ain't pretty or pleasant. Oh, I like that. I like that. Let's see. Michael says, Tim, 9-8 and the playoffs. Listen, guys, if you take a look at the Giant, this is going to be a process. Yes, and he is coming in, and we read the quotes from John Harbaugh, but you got it. Like, okay, so your quarterback's Jackson Dart. I still think you need an upgrade over Tyrone Tracy. I don't know what Cam Scadaboo's going to be. Darius Slayton is a 4th wide receiver on a good team. Isaiah Hodges is a 4th wide receiver on a good team. Gunnar Olszewski is what they refer to as a punt returner. You got Malik Neighbors. Theo Johnson, to me, we don't know what Theo Johnson we're going to get. Bo, we don't know what we're going to get. John Runyon's probably going to be gone. JMS should be gone. Greg Van Roten's probably going to be gone. Elliot Fudd's going to want more money to come back. So literally you have 2 guys or potentially 3. Dart and Neighbors are the 2 guys out of your starting 11 on offense that I say that have potential to be part of this team and be something special. I would trade Dexter Lawrence. Darius Alexander had a half sack less than Abdul Carter. Robert Harris is going to be gone. Brian Burns had a great season, but once again, we said it before, like Dexter Lawrence, is Brian Burns a good player on a good player on a bad team, or an average player on a regular team? Because he's never been on a good team yet. Bobby Okereke, people want to get rid of. Darius Muasau should be gone. Chauncey Golston's going to be gone. Paulson Adebo, the jury's still out with him. Dane Belton should be gone. Holland, the jury's still out with him. Corey Black is Corey Black. Drew Phillips, and there's a tackle I never was going to miss. But the only problem is I'm going to have a 72% completion percentage for 575 yards and give up 10.6 yards per completion. Cordell Flott, you're going to overpay for 6 games. Deontay Banks, people want to get rid of. And then you're going to have Shane Bozeman, Neville Hewitt, Demetrius Flanagan Flowers. I mean, guys, there's maybe 3 guys in starting 11 on defense that are any good. So you got 5 to 7 guys. And I always love it because people put out these 5 guys or 7 guys that this is the core block. Okay, it's a 53-man roster. You need more than 5 to 7 guys. So, I mean, I love John Harbaugh's enthusiasm. I do. I think it's great. I think the Giants roster is strong, and it's our job to make it stronger. We're going to compete for the playoffs and the championship. I expect to make the playoffs next year. John Harbaugh. I hope he's right. But football logistics, you look at the roster, you're kind of like, okay, John, we love you, brother, but I don't know. Like I said, we're just going to enjoy it. I said this when we hired Joe Schoen, and I've said it a million times. When Joe Schoen first came in, I gave him the benefit of the doubt. He's like, we're going to build through the draft and augment through free agency. He went totally opposite. He also, with the trades, fucked everything up. In the salary cap that he was supposed to clear only has $11 million right now. But we gave him the benefit of the doubt. And anything that John Harbaugh does right now, he gets the benefit of the doubt for me. He gets the cachet of being the Harbaugh. And that's what we're going to look at. Eagles looked at our blueprint. Jeff says, thoughts on trading back twice in the first round to get assets for a lack of depth. I would not do that in this draft. I would trade back to like 10 or 11. Like I said, I would get like Fano out of Utah. And I know it's not sexy, but like I said, I spend the money on Linderbaum. I got Andrew Thomas. You hope he stays healthy. You take Fano, put him on the right side. You try to get Ellie Moore Fudd to come back. You do the things you need to do to build that offensive lineman around your second-year quarterback and teach your second-year quarterback how to throw downfield. And if anyone can do that, you got to assume it's going to be John Harbaugh after what he did to Lamar Jackson. And I'm not saying that Jackson darts Lamar Jackson, but I am saying that if Harbaugh was able to do that with Lamar, then he should be able to do that with anybody. Welcome to New York, says the slider. Skyline says Shane is going to be working the parking lot during the tailgates. That's just mean. We've already said it before, and we've shown it before. Joe Shane's new job, until he gets acclimated, is parking the car of Coach Harbaugh. We've already seen it. Day one, Harbaugh in the building, coming to the visit, Joe Schoen being the valet. We've already seen that. We already know what's going to happen there. So we're good. What do we got here? Let's see here. LeVar says, hey, Tim, I'm here. Let's talk. Wandell will be back. I hope to God not. I think it's a waste of cap space. I really do. Greeny Green, what's up, Greeny Green? Shane's likely to be collecting a check this year. Yeah, Shane's gonna be here. I know people hate that, but Shane's gonna be here for the rest of the year because, like I said, the Giants should be all about winning. But in all honesty, the Giants are a business. You're already paying Brian Dable. And I don't think the Giants want to fire Joe Schoen to then have to pay another general manager this year. And after you just paid okay. Hey, we can stay a little longer. I was going to check out soon, but we can stay a little longer. Okay, we will. You can all thank Mrs. Online Big Blue. So everyone, we can stay a little longer. Everyone with a big type in the center right now. Thank you, Mrs. Online Big Blue. So thank you, Mrs. Online Big Blue, for that. We were going to wrap up in 15 minutes, and now we're staying longer. Juan says, hey, he did with a smirk the whole time. Terrible GM. I do hate Joe Schoen. Joe Schoen's one of those guys you just want to punch in the face. I do not advocate violence or punching anyone in the face, but he's one of those guys you want to punch in the face. I wanted Joe Schoen fired for years. He kept throwing everyone else under the bus. He really did. Let's see. MJC says, what's up, Tim and OBB family? It's a new day. Feel better to be a Giant fan. Let's get some W's. Let's see here. Giants are closer than their record might imply. We're more than we already talked about. We're more than a couple linebackers. Jersey says, what's up, brother? Good morning, Tim and Chet. Nothing will be more satisfying. John Harbaugh telling Joe Schoen not to buy an apartment like Joe Schoen told the players before he let him go. Oh, I forgot about that. Joe Schoen told what's his name not to renew the lease on his apartment. Joe Schoen is a dick. Joe Schoen really. I forgot some of the shit that Joe Schoen did. Joe Schoen really is a dick, and I'm glad he's gone. Not yet. Phil says, will Joe Schoen demote, or are we just sticking around past February? He's going to stay the whole year, but I don't see them bringing Joe Schoen back. I do not see it. If you literally take at his draft, you take a look at his roster, you take a look at everything that he has done, you take a look at his free agency, you take a look at his trades, you got to move on from Joe Schoen. James Stein says, dawn of a new era, football where winning is normal and expected. Jersey says, hit the like button, folks. Please make sure you smash that like button as soon as humanly possible. You guys are so sweet. I saw the chat. I didn't see the chat. I'm way behind on the chat. Later we got it. Oh, damn, we are way beyond the chat. McLeod, thank you. Nick McLeod. Thank you, Mrs. Online Big U. Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Online Big. Thank you, Mrs. Online Big Blue. I love it. I love it. I love the people in the chat with the thank yous, Mrs. Online Big Blue. Where's my brother James? James, you need to come on. You guys are so nice. I can't bet first. Oh, okay. Okay. Where's James? Where are you? Where are you coming on? Let's see. Where I was gonna have Ryan on too, because we like to have young Ryan on because he is the protege. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Peanut butter jelly time. Peanut butter jelly time. Where you at? Where you at? All right, where are we at? Let's see here. The Giants will still have to meet the Rooney Rule for OC and DC. Do they? Because I believe. one guy, the defense coordinator, and the one guy's black. So I don't think they have to meet the rule. But doesn't matter. Ben in and out watching. I'm gonna hop on with Link in a minute. Well, Ryan, if you've been watching, this is your big chance to shine, young Ryan. The fuck, man. I'm trying to help this kid. He's my Padawan, but my Padawan's not doing too good. My Padawan is Padawaning sucking. Come on, Ryan. You're Joe Schoening. We're only at 85 likes. If we don't hit 100, I hear rumors that Joe Schoen will be back for 2027. Let's see here. Why did Hyatt become a bust? I'm going to tell you why Jalen Hyatt became a bust. And I like Jalen Hyatt coming out of Tennessee, even though we only had a couple games with, you know what? Here's the thing. You know what I just thought of? Wow, this really hit me just right now. Jalen Hyatt last season in college, he had like 3 big games, which really propelled him. And he came to the NFL and he became a bust. Wando Robinson had 3 big games at a 17, and people want to give him millions. Jalen Hyatt should be a cautionary tale. Jalen Hyatt's biggest issue is his sleight of frame and his inability to consistently get off the line of scrimmage. And I said this, one of the things that worried, and I thought even if the Giants took Jalen Hyatt in the second round, I said I would be fine with that. But Jalen Hyatt's inability to consistently get off the line of scrimmage is what causes his biggest issues. I thought he was going to be a Devontae Smith. I thought he was going to use his speed. I thought he was going to use his quickness to get off the ball and to get into his routes. He takes too long. And if you watch it, Jalen Hyatt takes too long to get into his routes. Now, the thing is this, when he does get into his routes quickly, when he's not jammed at the line, he can be effective and he can be open downfield. And we've seen it. And the only problem is he just has a tendency to drop shit. But we've seen it officially that he can get downfield. But his biggest issue is the fact that he does not have the ability to consistently get off the ball.
That's what she said.
That's always been his biggest problem, and that will always be his biggest problem. Tim, where is the spread? You are poor party with no food. Oh, where's the spread? It's you know what, Joe Schoen was in charge of that. Big, what do we got here? Big Slider says, Tim, this is what I wanted, a head coach. I want a goddamn accountability and a coach that will be in your face. Don't want a coach that wants to be buddies with his players. John Harbaugh, Coach Harbaugh. Coach Harbaugh is an old school guy. Coach Harbaugh is 63 years old. He's older than me by a lot. He's 63 years old. He's been in the league forever. He's an old school coach. And he is a guy that I think is going to preach accountability. And I think there's going to be a little bit of a culture shock with some of these players who think they're TikTok stars and social media stars more than they think they're football players. It's going to be a rude awakening. Roberto says, if Flott is a free agent, do you think he will be signed? Cordell Flott, man. Cordell Flott was this is how bad the defensive secondary was. Cordell Flott for 6, 7, 8 games was probably the best defensive player we had in the secondary. But that's also saying, boy, that garbage only stinks a little bit like trash. There's going to be a change, guys. And we also have to see I'm not making any predictions on the roster till I see who the offensive coordinator is. Todd Munkins, we hear, is coming in, maybe coming in the OC, which I think would actually be a good choice. But until I know who the DC is going to be, I don't know what exactly they're. First of all, let's get John in the building. Let's get Coach Harbaugh. He gets the reverence, Coach Harbaugh. Let's get Coach Harbaugh in the building first. And then we can see what he thinks and what he wants to do with the roster. That's where we're going to go from there. And that's what we're going to call it. And it's going to be the end of the day. How about a name like Bear Bryant? Yeah, that's like Tank Winner. Ryan, it's finally official. The wait is finally fucking over. We don't have to hear any speculations, any rumors, any innuendos, anything else. I would like people, though, and I'll start with you. I would like people to give us credit. We literally said 5 hours before the official word came out, what exactly John Harbaugh wanted, and everything he asked for, we were told that's what he wanted.
His role, yeah.
Yeah, we have our contact who told me everything that Harbaugh wanted, and people were like, "Oh, that's," and then 5 hours later, the same report came out, and then Harbaugh just got everything that he said that he wanted.
Good.
So everyone needs to come back to me and say, Tim, you Greek god, you are right once again, just like Malik Willis. You are never wrong, and we are humbled to be in your presence.
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to say, Ryan.
Oh, no. I'll leave that to the chat.
You'll leave that to the chat. So now you were on the stream the other day, and you were one that was saying, because we talked about it, that with all the reports from the beat writers, that you were getting a little concerned. You weren't concerned initially. You went on social media.
No, I still was. Like I had a good feeling it was going to happen, but the way they kept talking, it was like, all right, what's going on? Why is this taking a few days? And then I don't know if you saw the tweet by Ian O'Connor yesterday, because he posted so many that I didn't even know I don't know if I've seen all of them, but there was one he put that said he texted John Harbaugh last night at 9:17, not last night, the night before he signed,
night before,
at 9 p.m. saying, do you still think you're going to be the next head coach of the Giants? And Harbaugh said, I don't know.
Well, I mean, I still, my thing was this, and my thing was always this. I never text John Harbaugh. I don't text anybody. I do text Bill, but I didn't text John. I didn't text Coach Harbaugh because he needs that reverence because he is now our coach. I didn't text Coach Harbaugh, but I never thought the deal was in doubt. The one person that I knew that, like I said, that gave us all the information before, he texted me during the stream and said, everyone just needs to fucking relax. It's a language issue in regards to operations and whom he appoints to directly. We said it right when he texted me. I read the text right on the thing. I don't have my phone, so I could read exactly what he wrote because it's the exact same thing that was said in the papers. But I had no doubt. I had no doubt in my mind. I wasn't worried. I wasn't concerned. I was just worried that we were going to have to go, that they weren't going to get anything done till today or tomorrow, and we were going to have to wait till fucking Wednesday. Now we got the press conference on Tuesday because they got it done. They got it done last night.
12 p.m. I'm pissed because I got midterm week and my test on Tuesday is at 12 to 2.
What time is the press conference? Is it 12? Oh, it's at 12 o'clock. Okay, well, we'll evidently be streaming at 12 o'clock.
I'll be live at 3, I guess. Then I guess
I'm not streaming at 12 o'clock. I got my kids got the same things going on, so I'll probably be on at 3. I'll probably be on 3 o'clock as well, like we normally do on whatever day that is on Tuesday. This is a good question, and you're here, and I already answered it. But I'm going to ask you because you're a young and upcoming content creator. Cordell Flott, a free agent. Do you think he resigns with the Giants with the new head coach? Do you think he resigns?
Now I think it's more likely than it was, before. Like I think Harbaugh's going to value that. I think Harbaugh will see the potential in Flott, and what he's shown at times. In I think 6 games where he had really good games this year, maybe 7. But Harbaugh's going to see that. And I think he's going to, see it as a guy he can develop, and especially because we're weak in the secondary. So if you could bring him back for not too big of a deal, not too bad of a contract, I think he'll look to do that.
Do you know some of the cornerbacks that have played under John Harbaugh over in their heyday in Baltimore?
Yeah.
Do you know some of the names?
There's a
Marlon Humphreys.
Yeah, Marlon Humphrey, yeah.
Brandon Steve. I mean, what's his name? Not Brandon Steve. Marcus Peters.
Yeah.
These are Brandon Stevenson.
Marlon Humphrey actually. I saw Giants Rush trying to get him on. They were commented to him. I saw a tweet by Marlon Humphrey yesterday.
So you had guys like Marlon Humphreys, Marcus Peters, and Brandon Stevens. What style of play do those 3 guys have in common in their heyday? And who was their defensive coordinator?
Defense. Oh, with
at that time.
with Harbaugh in Baltimore.
Yeah, with when they were at their peak, and they had Humphreys and Peters playing together when healthy. Who
Wake
was
Martindale?
Wake Martindale. So you could say if you watch those Baltimore defenses, they were press cover corners in an attacking style wink defense.
Yeah.
Now they didn't fully go away from the weak defensive philosophy in Baltimore. And you take a look at Kyle Hamilton, what he's done. Cordell Flott, if you're going to go by what they've done in Baltimore for 18 years, does not fit the Harbaugh system. Is now Paulson Adebo, Deonte Banks, guys like that. I'm not saying, and listen, I am not saying anything that they're Humphreys and Peters.
Yeah.
But they're more Humphreys and Peter-esque than Cordell Flott would ever be.
Well, I was just going to say, when you said that Banks is like those type of corners, nowhere near their level, but their style of play, that I think, I don't know. I think I'm also more confident that Banks is going to be on the team next year, since he's not a free agent or anything, and you're not going to get anything from through a trade.
No, you got your last year. You're probably not going to pick up his 5th year option, but he will be here for year 4.
Yeah. So, and I don't think Banks is good. I think he's awful. I don't think he's going to be able to turn it around, but he plays the same style that, Harbaugh might look to just, give him one last shot, or like before his.
That's the thing. I think that Harbaugh is giving everyone, which would be smart, that he's going to come in here and give a lot of players a clean slate and say, you know what? We're going to give you a clean slate. We're going to give you the opportunity to prove you're either good or you're not, especially players that are under contract. And like I said, Paulson Adebo and Banks fit the Baltimore philosophy. And
do you think he does that? Do you think he would do that with JMS, or do you think it's better to look to move on from him and go? I know I like Tyler Linderbaum. He's improved, from his rookie year to now drastically, but
he's 3-time Pro Bowler. His pass blocking percentage from his rookie year, according to Pro Football Focus, went from 52.4 to 87.7 the last 2 seasons.
I'm just worried about, because of how many needs there are on this team, paying him whatever. I think it's $20 million.
What's your biggest position on this team?
Linebacker.
No. Biggest position in regards to players. Like, out of the 22 starters, what's your most important position?
Quarterback.
Who snaps the ball to the quarterback?
Center.
There we go.
Yeah, but I don't think it's worth paying him the big bucks.
He's gonna get paid, because, like I said, they didn't pick up his 5th year option because he had a $26.7 million cap hit his 5th year, because of the way the cap, the way it's structured with rookie contracts, how it doesn't just go off position that 5th year, the evaluations off the entire offensive line, which it counts in tackles and everything else. That's why the number was so high. They didn't get rid of him because of lack of production. But here's the thing: follow the natural model, or even the Philly model. When they won the Super Bowl, they had the best offensive line, the best defensive line.
Built from the trenches.
Didn't have the best quarterback. Didn't have you would say a top, I would say Jalen Hurts is the top 10 quarterback, but didn't have the top quarterback in the league. But they built through the trenches. They built a running game, and they had a center, 2 centers now, especially in Cam Jurgens, and they had Kelsey before that were the field generals for that offensive line that helped facilitate what they did on offense. Now, imagine if you have a 2nd-year quarterback who has a veteran, 3-time Pro Bowl center who's only going to get better, and what he can do in regards to help taking Jackson Dart's game, hopefully, to the next level.
Yeah, and I actually don't know if we've ever spoke about this, but what are your thoughts on Carmen Braccio, the current offensive line coach? Do you want him to stay on the staff with Harbaugh, or do you does it not matter? Do you think if Harbaugh wants to go in a different direction,
Harbaugh is already going to be interviewing his former
Warhoff, I think.
Yeah, his former offensive line coach from the Ravens. I don't care. I know everyone. Here's my thing, and I finally got this. Everyone thanking Mrs. Online Big Blue because she had to work and letting me stay on later. So everyone, give the big thank you out to Mrs. Online Big Blue. I don't care. This is now literally John Harbaugh's team, Coach Harbaugh's team. This is Coach Harbaugh's team now. If Coach Harbaugh wants to bring in Alvin from Alvin and the Chipmunks to be a secondary coach, I'm down. I'm good. Bring him in. because maybe he'll bring in Simon and Theodore with him. I don't care, because I am going to trust the man that we literally just gave $100 million to and gave him control that we have not seen any Giant have in the front office since George Young took over total control of football operations years ago.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I feel about it. Like I like Carmen Brasillo. I think he's done a good job, better than Bobby Johnson did. But if Harbaugh wants to go in a different direction and thinks that another guy would be better for the team like Warhol, then definitely let him do that. I'm not going to complain what Harbaugh does until it doesn't work out. But
right, I am now Mr. Positivity.
Yeah.
Until they fuck up.
Yeah.
Because they're
also,
fuck up.
There's people saying to keep Andre Patterson, the defensive line coach. What has he done? We have the worst run defense every year.
But their thought process is this, and I've already talked about Andre Patterson. Nothing against Andre Patterson, but he should have been fired 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Because he's living off people, he's not, but people in social media, content creators are living off of this. And I always think R0B. Well, he worked with Danielle Hunter. Okay, Danielle Hunter did not get worse when Andre Patterson left. Danielle Hunter got better. He worked with Dexter Lawrence. Well, Dexter Lawrence was always Dexter Lawrence. And honestly, Dexter Lawrence I have not seen an improvement in Dexter Lawrence in 3 years. And to your point, our run defense, and if you go back to the 2022 season when we had, when we did everything we did, there was a time that teams were still gashing the interior of the line, and we had Leonard Williams and the wonderful Dexter Lawrence, and the defensive line actually did not start stopping the run until Leonard Williams went out with an injury.
Yeah. No, I don't get the Andre Patterson. I know he has a lot of coaching experience. He's been in the league for a while, so he's well respected, but he's not a good coach, in my opinion, at least not with us. The 4 years it didn't work.
Yardley, are you 2026? You're going to apologize what you said about Jackson Dart. He's going to make you eat your words. I don't fucking care. What do I care? Why do I? Yardley, I appreciate
you. Hope he does that.
I hope he does that. I hope he. Thank you, Ryan. Young Ryan gets it. Yardley, thank you for the super chat, because all super chats go to the Philadelphia Children's Hospital or the hospital. I mean, so what the fuck does that matter?
Good.
Yes, I hope he does.
Yeah.
But right now, you have a quarterback that completes 72% of his passes from -2 to 8 yards. From 10 to 20, it drops down to 46. Anything over 20, he completes 24.9% of his passes. Don't talk about the drops, because in the top 20, in reference to players with drops, there's no Giants. I know that's hard to believe. Young Ryan didn't know that the other day, but in the top 20 players with the most amount of drops in the NFL, there are no Giants.
Yeah, I said there was one.
Yes, you said there was one. There was none.
Yeah.
Drops are a part of the game. Drops happen. When we signed Darius Slayton to the 3-year, $36 million contract, I reminded everyone. And I even went as far back as the Tampa game a couple years ago and said, that motherfucker drops everything. And now you think he's the perfect pairing for Malik Neighbors. But we're not going to talk about having that eat my words, Yardley, are we?
How do you feel about Isaiah Likely as an option to bring in?
I've already did a video about Isaiah Likely.
I think he's one of the free agents I would want most, especially because I don't like Theo. I don't think he's the guy. I know it's only been 2 years. I just don't think he's the guy.
The problem with Isaiah Likely is that motherfucker can't block.
Yeah.
He can't block. But I don't want him to block. I want him to be
pass catcher, catcher.
I want him to be like the big tight end out of the other Penn State that I wanted last year. I want him to be the big tight end who stretches the field and opens it up for the middle of the offense, for the running game, and for your young quarterback. That's what I want. I want a guy that I want him to stretch the field.
Yeah. Imagine we got both Ravens tight ends, Likely and Kolar.
I don't think it's gonna happen. That I don't think is gonna happen, because our biggest issue is gonna be this. And I gotta give this shout out.
Stupid Giant Twitter post.
This one's going out to Chris the Entertainer, who basically told somebody, you shouldn't worry about the Giant cap space situation if John Harbaugh isn't. You have $11 million in cap space. You can get 40, but you are going to lose 4 or 5 players, and those 4 or 5 players that you lose, you're going to have to re-sign guys to replace them. So that means, James, where you keep going? I keep hitting James Williams and he disappears. Come in, James. But if you got, I like Lively. I think he had the foot fracture early in training camp.
Yeah.
He came back. He played 14 games. He's got like 1,500 yards. He has 15 touchdowns receiving, I think, in 4 years. And he's backing up Mark Andrews. I think I've said this before. I think he is an Antonio Pierce-esque player. Antonio Pierce had like 6 good games with the Redskins that season before the Giants went and got him. And he was a player on the cusp of being something special. And I think Isaiah Likely is that I think he's that player that he's not going to block, but he is going to give you, 65 receptions for 850 yards and maybe 8 touchdowns. Now,
we need that.
I am concerned, though. There are teams that are quality teams that need a tight end. I could see him going to Kansas City, especially if Kelsey decides he's going to hang it up. He's going to be another guy that I think is going to get money. He's going to get paid. And that's why Chris won Stupid Giant Twitter post, because of the fact that you're going to need to build this team through the draft. You're going to need to augment through free agency. But the problem is when you don't have any cap space and you have multiple teams that have over 100 million.
Yeah.
And need some similarly the same positions that you need.
Yeah.
There is going to be people getting overpaid, and you do not have a way to compensate that.
Yeah, and that's why at this free agency, I think we're gonna see a lot of just small signings, a lot of Ravens like players that'll have an impact. Whether it's on special teams, but no big money guy that we're gonna get. But there are gonna be Ravens that aren't stars, but they're just gonna do their job and fit the system and play special teams and play for Harbaugh, play guys that you might not have heard of that just come in and make impacts on special teams wherever it is.
And I think that's the situation where I got to James, where you keep going? I had to get James on quick because he keeps disappearing. People are saying that he's crying along with Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. I feel bad for Allen.
I do feel bad for Josh Allen.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Are you on Verizon?
What am I supposed to say now about Josh Allen, who had some mistakes, but as usual,
5 turnovers?
Can't make any mistakes like Jesus, or the world falls apart.
But Jesus didn't make 5 mistakes.
Whatever. I'm not really in the mood today for this bullshit. I'll be telling you right now, because half of the people who watch football don't really know football, and the other half are like Ryan's age, where they just got out their diapers. So I'm not in the mood.
Listen, I'm gonna
tell you right now.
I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna give you this. I'm gonna make you feel better. The interception at the end was a total bullshit call.
I'm telling you, I don't know what a catch is anymore.
If you go by NFL rules, and I love it how they have the NFL rule guys on, but if you go by NFL rules, he is down by contact.
It's amazing.
The old phrase and the old expression that you always used to hear is the ground cannot cause a fumble. That's what we used to hear. That's what we used to hear back in the 80s with John Madden and Pat Summerall. The ground cannot cause a fumble. Well,
and didn't the tie go to the offensive player?
The tie goes to the offensive player, yes. So, and the first pass interference, I was like, okay, this is getting a little sketchy. I was like, you cannot call that. You can't call that in the playoffs. That you cannot call. And then when they said that one play was the interception, I was like, they're not going to overturn it because it's the playoffs. But you can't, like I said, the second pass interference in the end zone, towards the end zone, that was pass interference. But that one was not. You didn't call the one prior to that, but the first one looked almost identical. The second one looked almost identical to the first one. So how did you not call it the first time, but you're going to call it the second time? And then you're going to make that call in the playoffs. No, there's a phrase that says, let them play. Let them play. Unless it's something.
Yeah, I mean, you can't have as many turnovers as he had, obviously, in a game. You know, you can't do that. But also, I mean, Cooks, you know, if he makes that catch, we're having a totally different conversation. So, you know, that's just the way the game goes. You know, we love it. You know, I feel bad for Bo Nix, his ankle. I feel bad for Broncos fans that they don't get to have their full team, whoever they face, you know, in the next game. I do feel bad for that because I like to see, you know, fairness. So, you know, they won the game, but again, it's just I just don't know what a catch is anymore. And any game that comes down to two PIs on the last play, I'm sorry. That's I'm sorry. I'm just sorry. No.
Well, I like you. I'm still suffering because your favorite.
And that's all I'm gonna say.
Your favorite player on the Knicks, top of the key, down 7, wide open 3. He airballs it. Big cat.
It is not a cat guy.
Big cat. Karl-Anthony Towns puts up a fucking air ball, top of the key,
oh, please.
all alone. All alone. I mean, I was like, you know, it's funny. I sat there last night with my hand in my head saying, thank God for the Giants.
And that's insane.
Because I know, because at least we have the Giants.
Who would have thought?
You know what?
Sorry, Ghost Rider, the pattern is full.
What's up? Look, are you wearing a Giants jersey? Are you wearing a Giants jersey?
It's my old Hakeem Nicks Super Bowl jersey.
Oh my God, you have a Giant jersey on. Oh my God, the world has officially ended. The world has officially ended. Slider has on the Giants jersey. I am going to say this about Bo Nix. I don't feel bad for him. You want to know why? Because it's referred to as football karma. When you have, you know, it's bad that he is the recipient of the football karma, but when you fuck a team over so badly as Buffalo was, it's called karma. It's called football karma. These things happen. So
I was shocked. Got hurt, and I was like, "What are you talking about? He finished the whole game. He did, but I didn't know he got hurt in one of the plays."
He got hurt on the scramble. I think it was the third last play because you could see him limping.
Yeah.
All right,
I didn't notice that. I noticed when the game.
Yeah, let's talk Giants, man.
Let's talk Giants. We're not going to talk about those crappy other football games because there is no other football games. If you want to go see that video I talked about before, you can go and find it. It's called Giants and Raven, the Harbaugh guys. That, of course, is on the mighty FanDuel, on Online Big Blue Sports, on New York Giants Straight Talk. So make sure you go to the Harbaugh guys. That was a video from like 3 days ago when they actually signed him. So now, Slider, the contract's done. Everything's signed. We are now at the pinnacle of having him with the press conference on Tuesday. What's your thoughts and feelings on the New York Football Giants as I see you broke out the Hakeem Nicks?
Oh, I'm just excited to have him. I just wanted the things that we all want for. I just want the players accountable. I mean, first and most important thing, but is it true that he's got full control now?
The pattern is full.
Full control. Like
you keep
like Joe doesn't eat.
Ghost Rider, you're breaking up.
Am I breaking?
You're breaking.
God, I'm sorry.
You are.
Let me
you are literally turbo and ozone. You are breaking, and it's not electric. It's not breaking to electric boogaloo.
All right.
Well, let's have you try to come back on and see what you got. What I want, though, you know, he's talking about what he wants. What I want is, if you know, I'm being selfish, is I want a McLaren 720, but you know, I'll take the Giants being good again.
They're going to say McLovin.
I don't want McLovin. I always got McLovin is always on. See, I'm going to be professional.
I am McLovin.
There we go. Is it September yet? James, we finally got our coach. We finally got our guy. What's your thought process now? Are you feeling better about this team? Are you going to be, you know, not optimistic and kind of be that pessimistic wait and see fan that you literally see some of these fans are like, well, maybe he was the wrong hire. I know.
I mean, I think you have to be happy and optimistic, you know. I don't know. it's such a weird fan base. It's like we finally have a legit coach, and I'm not even going to be mad at the people today who want to say, you're going to be in a Super Bowl in a year. That's what fandom is about. It's short for fanatic. So I get it. In the time that you've been doing Giants content, Big Ryan, and the time you've been doing it, like, we haven't really had anything to celebrate. So
We haven't been good.
I'm optimistic. I'm happy. But at the same time, being an older person and an older sports fan, it's like I'm looking at 7-10 next year, and then maybe make the playoffs the following year.
Right.
That's what my 2-year expectation is. If you want to short,
Ryan, there was a poll on Twitter or X or whatever the fuck you want to call it. And that poll said that they said, are you happy that the New York Giants have John Harbaugh as their head coach? And I believe it was 8.7% of the people taking that poll said they were not happy, that they were not ecstatic about that he was the wrong hire. What do you say to that almost 9% of your fan base that thinks a guy that coached for 18 years, had, I think, 2 losing seasons, won a Super Bowl, won multiple playoff games, and did it with 2 different style quarterbacks, that there is potentially 9% of people in Giant fandom that don't think this is a good hire?
Maybe they misclicked. Maybe they meant to click yes. I do that sometimes, where you click no on the poll on accident.
That would be like 1%. That would literally be 1%, right?
Yeah. To the people that press no, though, they're gonna see. I don't know. They might complain of I wouldn't complain about a 6 or 7 win season. That's for the first year with how much he has to change. But they'll complain about that. But in year 2, I expect this team to. Obviously there's still. I don't want to look too ahead, but in year 2, that's when you should start to see us compete for a playoff spot. But like, I'm not gonna go in saying we're going to the playoffs. We're going to the Super Bowl this year. But if you're not excited about this hire, a guy who's been to the playoffs like 12 or 13 out of 18 seasons, consistently wins at least 8-9 games at the low on a low. The worst season he's had is 5 wins, and that's only 1 time. Then I don't know if you're a true Giants fan, because how can you not be excited? I mean, look at you would get excited over Daniel Jones winning a playoff game. This is bigger than anything we've had since the Super Bowl that we had. So if you're not excited, then I just kind of question your Giants fandom.
Slider, John Harbaugh said, and we have the quote on the bottom, I think the Giants roster is strong. It's our job to make it stronger. We're going to compete for the playoffs and for championships. I expect and want to make the playoffs next year. He said he expects. He's not saying he's going to. He says he expects to make the playoffs next year. And I think that's a great statement. As a lifetime Giant fan, are you looking at his comment and thinking to yourself, hey, you know what? You're going to be the unrealistic fan. Says, we're going to win 12 games. We're going to be like the Patriots. Or are you going to just take it with cautious optimism that, if, to James's point, if we win 7 games, I think that's a win.
That is. I mean, and I don't blame like John for saying that, but
No,
me
I think
as
he
a
should
fan,
say it.
like, I'm just gonna be, yeah, and that's how he should feel. But for me, like, after like coach after coach, and I know John's a different type of coach, and I do believe in him. But just for me, I'm gonna be cautious, like, because I don't want to be like expecting big things, and then you're disappointed, and then you're like, oh crap, what another waste of a season. But I'm gonna take it. Like, I told myself this, like, once we hired him, regardless of what's going to happen, like, I'm going to take it 1 game at a time. And I just want to see the improvements. That's number 1 important thing for me.
And
I start
think,
like having the high expectations.
And I think that's probably the best way to put it. Because like I said, I am realistic in the fact that if he goes 7-10, I count that as a win. I count that as an improvement over last year. I think that's that, and as long as we show improvement, that's all I want. James, young Ryan and I were talking about our defensive backfield, and we were discussing. He was mentioning that he would probably bring back Cordell Flott, and I told him, if you take a look at the lineage of corners, especially in Baltimore, under the Ravens, under the likes of Wink Martindale's, you had 2 guys we talked about in Humphreys and
Peters.
And Stevenson, who were man-to-man press cover corners in an attacking style defense. Wouldn't it make more sense to try to restructure or figure out how to reinvigorate the likes of Deonte Banks and Paulson Adebo, because they actually fit the system that was similarly run for 18 plus years in Baltimore?
Yeah. It would make sense, I mean, we obviously didn't get to see the best out of Banks or really anybody in our secondary this past year at all. Hopefully with a new coach, new coaching staff, new vision, new game plan, new techniques, these guys can get rounded into shape. I don't want to say that we have to cut bait with half the guys on the team. Hopefully some of these guys, Harbaugh can turn into some real players. You don't have to be all pro to be a player.
Hold on 1 minute. We're not looking at you, Jalen Hyatt.
Huh?
I said we're not. I just want to put out a PSA. We're not looking at you, Jalen Hyatt. You're gone.
I mean, yes, there are some guys who have to go. I mean, if you're a wide receiver and Jameis Winston has more touchdowns than you, you have to go. That's just a fact, and to Giants fans, I'll tell you right now, a la watching Evan Ingram out there yesterday against the Bills, don't be mad if Jalen Hyatt goes to the Rams or goes somewhere and he produces. There's a chance that can happen, new fresh start. But with Harbaugh coming in here, like you said, the guy hasn't even, I don't even think he's taken a piss in the urinal yet. You know what I'm saying? So give him a chance to get in there, get his stuff in the office and let his kids run around the building and whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, just give him a chance to get in there. But I do think some of these guys can be salvaged or recycled. I always use the quote for NBA players, like, if you get a Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf or Jamal Mashburn, that's great. Everybody's not going to be LeBron or Kobe. Right. Same thing in the NFL. Like I always say, Corey Webster is one of my favorite players of all time, and we need some more Corey Websters here. So
the quote actually wasn't. It was for Jackson Dart. He hasn't even taken a shit in the building yet. That was the initial quote here for Online Big Blue. He hadn't even taken a shit in the building yet. Please give the kid a break, Ryan. You're looking at your fifth overall pick. I see a quote. I see we have it up on the bottom of the screen. You and I talked about it briefly. You're now Coach Harbaugh, because we can call him Coach Harbaugh now. You are now Coach Harbaugh, coach of the New York Football Giants. You're sitting there looking at 5. You see all the holes in this roster. How are you starting your NFL debut with the Giants this draft in 2026?
Maybe a trade back, even though I don't know who would be looking to move up, because now that the only scenario I saw where we would trade back that made sense was if we got number 1 and we were trading back someone take Mendoza. I've wanted Cornell Tate because especially you're gonna let Wandale Walker, at least I would, that you can't go into the season with just Neighbors and then Slayton and then whoever behind him, especially because who knows if Neighbors is gonna be ready for week 1. He probably will, but you don't really know that. I'd like to pair them up and when Neighbors is out, have a reliable pass catcher like Cornell Tate there. But I think Harbaugh would probably kind of going back to what you said before, would want to build from the trenches, that you might look to take a lineman or offensive lineman for this team.
I'm telling you, man, you go get the Linderbaum. You got Thomas, you got Fano, and then you get whoever you want in your guards. I don't care. You build the offensive line. And my thing is this, and I've said it earlier in the stream, you got a second-year quarterback. The biggest position to me on that offense with a second-year quarterback, after you saw what Cam Jurgens did, after you saw what the other Kelsey brother did, is to have a solid center who has the ability to not only be the line general, but make the calls, help make the adjustments, and help your rookie quarterback see the field better. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, that's fair. And I don't know if you saw this just now, but there was a tweet that Harbaugh's meeting with Giants assistants Wednesday and Thursday. and it's likely that a lot of them are just going to be let go.
I was about to say, so Harbaugh will be firing giant assistants on Wednesday and Thursday. So make sure you stay tuned for the firing stream. And you're never happy when someone loses the job, but when you win 3 games in 13 seasons,
I'm blow it all up.
Yeah, I think that's you heard the show Diagnosis Murder. I think that's diagnosis to fire some fucking peoples and throw them out of the building. James, is that a nutcracker in the background?
That's yes, that's a nutcracker.
Okay, just checking.
He's here to fight the Rat King, or the refs Rat King, I should say.
It is January 18th. Just throwing that out there. Is that going to be the Valentine's Day nutcracker?
Yeah.
I'm just being the ball buster. Oh, because James, you're just so sullen and down. I don't like it.
Well, listen, man, I watched.
I like it, James.
I watched my man lose, and I watched the bum Knicks. That was just a bad night last night.
It is. Bad.
But we have Harbaugh.
True Blue says I'm taking best.
But we have Harbaugh. Yes, thank you, young Ryan. Thank you.
I'm taking best player, and if that's Downs, I'm taking Downs. No, guys, I've told you this. And you haven't learned it yet. Come on, True Blue. You don't take a safety, you don't take a defensive tackle, and you don't take a tight end in the top 10. The last safety that was taken in the top 10 was Jamal Adams. You don't do that. There is a reason it's called positional value, because usually those positions are not valued at 5. Offensive lineman, wide receiver, corner, those positions you normally see in the top 10 for a reason. Defensive end, not defensive tackle. Defensive tackle is the other one you don't take in the top 10. But you don't go and grab a safety. Even the venerable Kyle Hamilton, who really didn't turn it on till this year completely, when they made him a more of the inline in the box safety. That's a quasi linebacker. So no. You want to take, and I don't even think I don't think Downs is going in the top 10. That's just me. Kyle Pitts. You don't take a tight end. Kyle Pitts. I remember Kyle Pitts is going to be revolutionary. Giants should grab him. And I said, no. No, you cannot do that, because he's a tight end. He may be best player available, but you don't take a tight end in the top 5. And we all know how his career went. What does Greg say? Greg says, from what I have heard, Malik Neighbors isn't sure he will be ready for week 1. No, what Malik Neighbors said was the same thing that Andrew Thomas says. I am not putting a timetable on the nutcracker. Sorry. I'm not putting a timetable on my return, but I hope to be ready for training camp, and I hope to be ready to go. But I'm not going to put a timetable on it. I don't know. That might not be a good idea, Lo. Slider, what is going on with you? We have to buy Slider some internet. That's what we need to do, because we need to get him some. Yeah, I think he's over in California. Evidently, they don't have good internet in California like they do not have over in the UK. Big Ryan, we're going to be wrapping this up. We've talked about what you would say to that 9.1% of Giant fans that were discouraged on the signing of John Harbaugh, Coach Harbaugh. What about the other 90.2% of Giant fans that are exuberant in reference to Harbaugh coming in? What words of young wisdom because we're going to get the words of jaded wisdom in a minute, but what words of young wisdom would you give these fans?
Celebrate now. It's, the start of moving in the right direction for the franchise, but don't say we're going to win the Super Bowl. Don't have too high of expectations, because then you're going to be upset. If this season ends up being successful in our eyes, where it's 7 wins, you're going to end up being pretty disappointed. So just play it by ear, trust Harbaugh, but temper the expectations a little, but celebrate for now, because I don't want to take away anyone's excitement, but just be don't get too excited. Don't act like we're going to the Super Bowl just because we got Harbaugh. There's a lot of work to do with this roster and with this team, and also subscribe to Ryan's Big Blue Podcast.
Yeah, do everything but that last thing. Joe Ferry says, I'm gonna get James. Neighbors walking around like Grandpa Simpson for 3 months after his injury isn't bullish at all. Here's the problem. And I'm going to speak from experience, and because people don't get this. You have a torn ACL. you don't have surgery right away. It's not like he broke a bone that was protruding out of his ankle like a young running back we haven't had. You have to wait for the swelling to go down.
Yeah.
They literally make you do physical therapy for a month to a month and a half. Especially if you think you're going to have an invasive surgery, they make you do physical therapy for about 2 months before you literally have the surgery. And they cannot do any of the surgery until the swelling has gone down. I can tell you this twice. I can tell you this out of experience. We've shown the MRIs how much, if you ever seen an MRI and you've seen your knee, they have these big round black pockets. That's called swelling. And until that goes down, they do not operate on your leg, especially if they do an ACL replacement or they do anything that, even an ACL repair, because it's going to be harder for you to recover if you are not ready physically, which is why they put you in physical therapy beforehand. And that physical therapy sucks. Not as bad as how much it sucks after, but if you're not physically prepared, it is not always. Joe. Okay, Joe, you know what? You're
get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Joe, you're getting put in timeout because you're fucking an idiot, Joe. You don't know what you're talking about. Oh, I'm sorry. I only had an ACL repair and an ACL replacement. I'm sorry. My first physician was the team physician of the New York Knicks, which is why my knee was so screwed up the first time. I only know for a fact what they told me in physical therapy for a major college university football program. But we don't know what we're talking about because some dick shit on Twitter, on the internet, is like, that's not what happens because I have no experience in it. Oh, dear Lord. See, people, I told you, I'm still going to go off on people. Just because I'm the new happy, wonderful Tim, that's fine. But if you act like a fucking idiot, you're going to leave.
Shout out Jay Ferries, though.
Well, you've actually had surgeries, Tim, so, you can speak from experience.
Ryan, nobody likes a kiss ass. You want to go with Jay Ferries? You go with Jay Ferries. You go with the wind. Go with God. That's what they always say. We got the young, thoughtful type information in regards to be given to Giant fans. And now we're going to go with James. Is that a black nutcracker too?
Yeah, that's my man. He's holding me down today.
Okay, that is the black nutcracker on January 18th. That is the greatest thing in the world. I am literally. Did you get that at your job?
Yeah, no, I think I don't know if Rachel's mom got that. I don't know where they got that from.
That is the greatest thing in the world. I love that. I would have the gold chain on though. I would make him G Money Wells of nutcrackers. That's
you want to know what's funny? I'm not gonna find it now, but her mom, God bless her, she got me a Snoop Dogg ornament where he's dressed as an elf and he's smoking a blunt with a gold chain. And her mother got me that.
I love that. You know what's fun? I'll tell you offline. Because I kind of got the same thing from my wife a long time ago. And it was I can tell you now, it was not a bobblehead, but it was a Snoop figure. And it's him just sitting there smoking a blunt and literally you push the button in the back, smoke came out.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah, BP says the best. I can second that. A surgeon told me on my 4th surgery, 3 sports related, you can't operate until the swelling goes down. That's just football. That's not a nutcracker. That's Jay Williams from Chicago Bulls. Okay, we'll put this. We're going to delete this comment because not you, True Balls, the other idiot that was being racist. Oh, it's Cat Williams. Only James and I can be racist. So you can't be. If you're not in the family, you cannot be racist. But young Ryan gave us his thought process on what he would tell Giant fans going into the 2026 season. The 90.2% who are overly enthusiastic. James, from the older perspective, what would you tell these Giant fans as well?
I got to be honest, young Padawan, you spoke well there. I could see the training with our Darth Lord has been paying off. Number 1 is patience, because He didn't pick any of these guys. We know who picked them. Number two is patience. I would say number one and number two is patience, because the guy's going to come in here. He's going to try to work with the guys, evaluate these guys, the talent we have here. Remember, I'll just put something in perspective as an older fan, like you said, is that we still don't know if Dart is the franchise quarterback or not. We will find out.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with that.
They're going to go off the rails.
I'm not saying he's not the guy. I'm not hating on the guy. It's just we don't know. And the other thing we don't know how good this kid Carter is. As much as people like to say he turned it on at the end of the season, hoopty. We'll see. So there's a lot of things we got to see on this team, but we finally have a captain that knows how to run a ship. And I think that's the main thing. We've had a lot of shipmates trying to play captain, but now we have a real captain. So I would just preach patience, and I would just preach positivity. Now you have a real reason to be positive, not fake positivity. I mean, think about all the years we've seen people hype up Joe Judge. Oh, I like how he came in here and he's no nonsense. Yeah, did you like the T formation on the 5-yard line? So we have a real reason to be positive. I agree with young Ryan, patience, and don't be mad if some of your favorite players in a year or two are not here anymore.
Yeah, because just because they're your favorite players and you're maybe some of the top players on the team right now, they're not. Some of them are not top players on other teams, and Harbaugh's going to see that, and that's going to, he'll just trust Harbaugh. Don't get, don't become an idiot, but get excited. Get excited.
Amen.
There we go. I agree. I agree 100%. All will be exposed next year. I will tell Giant fans to be optimistic this season.
Hold on. Go back to Trenton. I got to get this out. Go back to Trenton. Trenton, we're on your ass.
That's right. We're I already told Trenton we're coming for him.
And I love you, Trenton. Shout out to baby girl.
We already bashed Trenton.
But we're on your ass.
We already bashed Trenton, but that's okay. Trenton, we're coming for you, man. We want Trenton to know that no longer are we the doormats of this organization. We are no longer the doormats. We are ready for you. And just to make James smile.
He went like this. He went like that. I said to Hollywood, where'd he go? Hollywood said, where'd who go?
And I needed that. I love it when someone brought up Patrick Mahomes. Let me tell you something about, because he's like, well, Patrick Mahomes had it the next day. Let me tell you something. When you tear your ACL, you don't always swell. And there's different levels of I can't believe I have to talk to this about people because people are fucking morons. You don't always swell. I tore my ACL the second time. There was no swell. I had no swelling. I still waited like 2 weeks to have surgery, and I could walk normal. But just every once in a while, because the ACL keeps your knee from doing this, from going side to side, every once in a while I would just fall down. I'd just be walking, I just fall down, lay on the ground. And then people are like, what's wrong? I said, I tore my ACL. I remember trying to do laundry, and I lived in this house off campus, and I had to go downstairs. I'm carrying the laundry basket, and I got down to the second to last step, and I just fell. Laundry everywhere. I'm laying on the floor. And I love it because my roommates come running down. I'm laughing because I thought it was the funniest shit ever. He's like, what happened? I said, I just fell. So it doesn't mean you always have swelling. Oh, my God. We're always going to have stupid fans. That's just the problem. And I love it. And it's always people that never had any of these injuries or anything. And they're like, well, you know what? And BP says it best. The reason being, surgeons have to see how the joint and the bones heal, to see what you're working with before they can operate. Unless you have orthopedic repair surgery, you're talking BS. I have, on my knee, I have 4 pin marks. And that's from having orthopedic repair surgery, where they just go in with these little, it's called a Magellan, and they just go in and they just fix your knee, and it's just 4 little pinholes. I've had that. Yeah, that's what he's talking about. That's what BP's talking about. All right. some people are aggravating me. So we're gonna end this because I'm getting aggravated, and I gotta go shovel snow. And I hate shoveling snow. I think the kid's up, so he's gonna shovel snow. To the 165 people that are still watching, thank you so much. We greatly appreciate it. To all the people, and we've said this before, I want to give a big, huge shout out. As of yesterday, we hit 1 million downloads on Believe. That's for the podcast alone. I know some people say, well, 1 million downloads since April, that's not a lot. You know, all those other people get 20, 30 million downloads a year or whatever it is. First of all, we don't buy any downloads and we don't buy any anything. So we don't buy any views on YouTube. So I want to give a big shout out that since April of last year, we cracked our 1 millionth download on Believe, on Apple and Spotify and all that. So I want to thank everyone that's been a part of that. That is a huge number for us, and I greatly appreciate everything that people have done and listened to. So we're actually going to have and I'm not going to say whom it's going to be or the day it's going to be, but I'm going to have a thank you stream sometime in the next 2 weeks. We have a big special guest coming on, and I'm not going to say who yet till we got everything confirmed, but when that date hits, we will let everyone know. And again,
Tiki Barber.
He said big.
I said big. Thank you.
Not big-headed.
Not the guy that's on his knees every 5 minutes trying to get back into the good graces of the Giants. Not that guy. No, we're not doing Tiki Barber, but it is a very big guest, and I'm very excited that this person is coming on.
But so salute to everybody out there, man. Keep supporting my brother. You know, that's my real brother there. You know, but he not just because he's my brother, but because he does a damn good job. You know, he's great at his craft. You know, support him. You know, we're glad he's going to be here for this upcoming season. You know, support him, support young Ryan, Big Dash, all the great ones. But, you know, just for my brother today, you know, salute to the 1 million downloads. You know, keep downloading, keep supporting him because we almost lost him, you know, and I'm glad he's going to be back. I'm sure we're all glad he's going to be back. And, you know, salute to you, brother, for staying real and always just coming on here despite what other people may say, sticking to your truth, sticking to the truth, not your truth, the truth. And, you know, we love you, Ben, and, you know, just great things in the upcoming year. So shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody in the chat. You know, appreciate y'all. Keep supporting our brother and our cult leader.
And I appreciate that, you know, James, greatly. And you know I don't take compliments well, so fuck you. You know that. But thank you. In all sincerity, like I said, it's been a great ride having people on like James, having Ryan on, having Big Dash, having all the other people that we've had on the last year has been phenomenal. And like I've said it before, I don't do this unless I have my support, and unless I have people like James and T Brad, who we haven't seen in a long time, and T Brad, who was some of the first people ever to come on to the channel and be part of the organization, and young Ryan for coming in later, you know, but you know, James,
I was 12 when you started this channel, so
you were 12. That's okay. We had one kid, the kid that does the wiffle ball channel. He was like 8. We actually had him on. I had to talk to his dad, but we had him on. Yes, it could be Steve Tisch. Could be Steve Tisch.
Shout out to the weatherman. I can't remember his name.
Anthony.
Yeah, word.
Oh, I met him.
Anthony. Yes, you met Anthony.
Yeah, shout him out.
Yeah, big shout out to Anthony, who used to give us weather reports until he became too big and popular. He's actually the second most accurate weatherman in Pennsylvania.
Congrats.
I know that because he told me. And I told him, well, it's good because I'm the #1 giant content creator. Anyone can make shit up. No, but I believe Anthony, and I do. Anthony was a guy that we watched graduate from Florida State. And then he went and got his master's, and he literally we watched him get a job. We watched him, you know, become the weatherman where he was, and then he moved on to another channel. And there's people like Saeed, who we don't even see anymore. We watched Saeed graduate from the University of Miami to get a job. You know, Zack Attack. We watched Zack Attack graduate from West Virginia.
Shout out to Zach.
We helped him get his girlfriend. I still remember the first time Zach Attack came, when he came on the show. Ryan, he came. We can help you too, Ryan. He came on the chat and he says, there is this girl that I like and I still remember to this day, and I want to ask her out. And he asked us for advice. And my wife got mad at me because she goes, what did you tell him? And I said, you need to tell him, hello, my name is Zach. I'm independently wealthy. She goes, you did not say that. I said, yeah, I did say that to him. But I said, that's not how we told him to get his girlfriend. But now he's got his girlfriend. They moved in together. He's graduated. He's got his job. So we watched the last 4.5 years. We watched a lot of people grow. And I think that's I think that's one of the best parts of the channel. We know we've helped people go to Giant games. LJ actually was one of our first winners to go on the field at Giant Stadium, because we still do that. We have LJ, and this was the first time I met LJ, and this is the first time I met Big L. Of course, that's Dominic Palmer in the middle, but LJ, we actually helped LJ not go to his first NFL game only, but he also that was his very first Giant game that he had ever been to. So we actually literally got him we did the whole coaches club thing and got him on the field. So, we try to give back. We try to do everything the right way. And like I said, I greatly appreciate everyone that's the 12,000 plus people that have still followed the channel, the millions of downloads we have on YouTube, and everything else that we've done the last 4 years. And we're going to be back for 26.
Yeah, man. Shout out to my 3 amigos there, my 3 brothers. You do a lot, man. It's a great channel. It's a great place of football worship to come here, every Sunday. These live streams are very therapeutic, to say the least, for all of us. I'm sure we all feel the same way. So, man, again, just shout out to you and much more prosperity. And he brought us Carl Banks twice.
Carl Banks liked it so much he came back a second time. Why? I got no fucking clue.
What they say, third time's a charm.
Hell, half the time I don't even want to be here, and Carl Banks showed up twice. And we also have to give a shout out this year to Matt Sims, because Matt Sims 3 times came on. We got to give a shout. We never really did an end of the year shout out. We got to give a shout out to Judy Batista, the Giant reporter for the NFL Network that came here. We got to give a big shout out to Jerry Oslowski, who the 10-year offensive lineman for the Buffalo Bills, for quarterbacks like Jim Kelly, Doug Flutie, and Rob Johnson. We have to give a big shout out to Amon Green. Yes, Amon Green, who blew us off.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Who we chastised for weeks, came on the show and didn't want to leave. He stayed for about 2 hours. We also want to give a shout out to Anthony Armstrong, former wide receiver of the Washington Redskins, who also came on the show, and he was actually very eloquent. We also want to give it to the people that live in the Philadelphia area. Big shout out to Howard Eskin, the sports pope of Philadelphia. He came on the show, and he's another one. And I loved Howard Eskin. He was another one that didn't want to leave.
Bram Weinstein.
Bram Weinstein. Thank you, Ryan. I forgot about Bram. We had Bram Weinstein, former ESPN host. Also, he is the radio announcer for the Washington Commanders. We have to thank Jumpin' Joe Valario. He was, of course, the offensive lineman for the Kansas City Chiefs, was one of the first offensive linemen ever to score touchdowns. And when I brought this up to him on the show, he's also, if you go way back, he was one of the poster children on the Joe Madden football. That's him in the background. That's Joe Valerio. I think he almost died laughing when I showed that to him on the stream, because he was
who was the Niners guy? We
had the guy on the what's his name? I cannot remember his name. Evan Gidding, who is also the voice of the Golden State Warriors. And I forget, it behooves me that I forget what channel that he is on in San Francisco, but he is the voice of the radio voice of the San Francisco 49ers and the Golden State Warriors. Also want to give a big shout out, because a lot of people didn't watch this interview because it had an issue. Ro Parrish is the former DJ of the Dallas Mavericks. He's actually a world famous DJ. He is the former DJ of the Dallas Mavericks. He works for the NBA TV. He also does a Dallas Cowboys podcast. So he was on last year as well. So we want to give a big shout out to him. We're going to have a bunch of new guests. Now that we're back, we're going to have a bunch of new guests on this year. On February 12th, I'm not going to say his name yet because his NFL contract does not expire till February 1st. We have what was going to be our final stream on the 12th. We have the gentleman that will be on who gives us all the information and who gave us all the information in reference to the Giant information that he's been 100% accurate with. He is the one that told us 5-6 hours before it was even reported everything that John Harbaugh wanted. We did it on the live stream, and he was 100% accurate on everything that he told me he wanted. He is going to be on the show. He will be revealed. This is going to be like the dating game. It's going to be the big reveal on February 12th, who this guy is. Former scout, not former scout, still current NFL scout, current NFL person, and he will be on the show February 12th. So make sure, which was going to be the final show, but make sure you stay tuned for that. I think that's all the housekeeping out, except for the mighty FanDuel, FanDuel.com, number one sportsbook in America. You guys got anything to wrap this up with?
123 away from 500 for me.
Why is it always about you?
What? Oh,
just fucking with you.
Well, no, I was gonna say though, you're making the 500 or whatever I'm about to hit soon, and whatever that is. I was like, oh shit. Well, $1 million's a lot better than 500.
Well, that's 1 million views, not 500.
I know, but still, it's a big milestone.
It is a big milestone on downloads, and we did it under a year, which I'm very proud of. Ryan, why don't you give us give your channel a shout out? And we're down to 152 people. Give your channel a shout out and tell us what you got coming up next on Ryan's Big Blue Podcast.
23 subs away from 400, whatever, 100 something from 500, and we're gonna have a lot of a few guests. But Monday's show is gonna be with a guest from Barstool. Tuesday actually be the press conference stream, and then I'm not gonna say his name yet because I don't want it to, I don't want anything to fall through. But a former Giant will be on in not Brandon London. I already have Brandon London, but a former Giant will be on in February. So
still got to get that. Can you really count Brandon London as a former Giant?
Shout out Brandon London.
Listen, people forget the WFL, the World Football League that in the early 90s. People forget that even happened because it was only 2 years. And there was a team, the New York Knights. I actually tried out for that organization and was invited back for a second tryout, to be the roster, but my knee still had not completely healed. So I do not sit there and tell people I am the former New York Knight alum for the World Football League.
He's got a ring. But no,
I got boxes of them. Sorry. No disrespect to Brandon London, but he is not the best in regards to being that enthusiastic crowd guy. I'm sorry. I think there should be a Brandon London change within the organization in regards to being that guy.
Well, I do have so it's a like I said, I'm not gonna say his name because for all I know, this could fall through and then I just look like an idiot. But there is gonna be a former Giant that has played, that's won Super Bowls here, 2 Super Bowls here, and
Carl Banks.
No, I'm not gonna say his name yet. He'll be on, and that'll be a good show.
Why would I go on his show?
Sorry.
Shout out to Omega Supreme.
Omega Supreme, who was up, James. And I want to give a big shout out to Off Broadway. Big shout out to my baby Lisa. Her birthday is coming up, and she's
happy birthday.
Happy birthday, baby Lisa. I hope you have yourself a wonderful birthday. Hopefully it's coming up in the next couple of days, or it's coming up soon. So BP says, Tim, do you remember the USFL and the local team, the New Jersey Generals? Yes, I actually went to a lot of General games in the spring.
And also PBE asked the question. I'm 17, not 47, like Trenton said.
Yeah, well, it's close enough. You act like an old man. James, you're gonna end the stream. What's the final word from James Williams?
Love, peace, and hair grease. That's all I got.
That's my line. That's how I end the stream.
Any final
thoughts? I know, but I don't got nothing today. You know that.
What's about Jay? What's that? Brian?
The Nutcracker's final thoughts.
Yo, you know what I say? I know it. Shout out to Miss Online Big Blue. to Rachel, and to all the women that let us come on here and get
allow
together
it.
as men.
Yes, I agree. And Mrs. Online Big, I was supposed to wrap up at 11:30, and she was doing some work and doing some things, and she says, "Well, why don't you stream longer?" So big shout out to Mrs. Online Big Blue. She's got a lot of stuff going on next week, so we got a lot of stuff to do, and it's very and like I said, without Mrs. Online Big Blue, without the lovely Mrs. James, we can't do this on Sunday. So, always a big shout out to the women in your lives.
Amen. There we go.
And the black nutcracker. You can never put that nutcracker away.
Yeah.
That has to stay out year round. I am now enamored with the nutcracker.
You are?
I am. I don't know why, but I love it.
I don't know why you are either. You have enough. You have so much stuff in your basement. I can't have some stuff.
Yeah, no, I love it. I want one of my. I want to put him next to the Bigfoot.
Oh, well, we'll bring you one.
I want to put him next to the clone trooper bartender. That's 10's bar. I want to put him next to that. I'm putting Mrs. Online Big Blue doesn't know this. I don't think she's watching, but I'm putting I have a 1960 something Batman costume, real nice one. I'm getting a mannequin, and I have a head of the original Batman that I'm going to put on the mannequin, and I'm putting the mannequin in the basement. I'm putting the mannequin next to the bar, next to the Bigfoot, being served by the skeleton clone trooper. So that's going to happen within the next 3 days. But she doesn't know that yet. So it's going to be an Adam West head on the mannequin in the full Batman regalia. I'm kind of excited.
Adam West head.
So I had to go to Etsy to get it. So last question. Brandon, you think Daves can be the OC? No. I don't think Daves can even be on the OC. And I don't even think that show's even on anymore. So I don't think he should even be near the OC. No one's coming back. Wink's not coming back.
He might go to Philly.
Yeah, I keep hearing that. Thank God. Maybe he'll fuck up Philly even more. But Wink's not coming back.
Wink might go to the Jets.
Brian Dable's not coming. Yeah, I saw that. Brian Dable's not coming back. Pat Shermer's not coming back.
Mike Kafka ain't staying.
Mike Kafka's not staying. Thank you. We're Ron Earhart's not coming back. Kevin Gilbright's not coming back. Nobody's coming back. It's going to be all new. Harbaugh, can you see the by Munkins and early light? Listen, if we can go get Jim Schwartz, it's the last thing I'm going to say. If we can somehow get Jim Schwartz, if he fits into the Coach Harbaugh plan, I would think that would be the second biggest coup the Giants could have outside of getting Harbaugh.
That'd be great.
Schwartz is one hellacious coordinator. He is now. Don't get fooled by what happened in Cleveland last year. This guy is probably one of the best defensive coordinators in the entire league. And I would do Munkins and Schwartz.
That would be experienced. That would be great.
And then if you want to finally have an attacking style defense, this is a guy that's going to bring it to you. This is a guy that can do that for you. We're still going to have issues stopping the run because of the personnel. But if you want to use the personnel we have to attack, Schwartz is the guy.
And John Fassel for special teams coordinator.
I thought we were going Fossils, kid.
John Fossil, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
everyone unsubscribe to Ryan's Big Blue Podcast because evidently he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
John Fossil, the current special teams coordinator of the Titans, or the Ravens guy, apparently I heard. So the Ravens special teams coordinator.
All right. For James, for Ryan, for everyone else, for Trenton who made a quick stop in. For everyone else, I want to appreciate you guys for tuning in for so long. Got up to 115 likes, so we can get out of here with that. For 156 people that are still watching, this is Tim, of course, for New York Giants Straight Talk with Ryan from Ryan's Big Blue Podcast, and James, whose new name is the Black Nutcracker.
I'll take it.
I love it. I really want that for my. I swear to God, I really want that for the basement. I want him right next to the other side of the bar, right next to the keg machine.
It would look good there.
It would look. I got a spot right there.
You're right. Actually, right.
He is perfect for the basement. Off Broadway says, hit that like button as you go out the door. And once again, happy birthday, baby Lisa. This is Tim. This is Ryan. This is everyone else going on. Big James Williams. Like we said it before, because James stole it. Hair piece. I can't remember. You got me all fucked up, James. I can't say it anymore because you screwed it up for me. This is Tim. And for Ryan. And for James. And we're out.